My favorite TV show is Breaking Bad. My favorite pregame ritual is listening to some music. I throw on some Lil Baby, Lil TJ, maybe some OT7 Quaney. And my favorite spring sports memory is beating Longmeadow in the playoffs last year.
My favorite movie or TV show is Shawshank Redemption. My favorite pregame ritual is just getting something to eat that's good, usually pasta and chicken. My favorite spring sports memory is beating Longmeadow in the playoffs last year.
My favorite TV show is iCarly. My favorite pregame ritual is listening to some music, some Lil Baby, Gunna, OT7 Quaney. My favorite spring sports memory is, I'd have to say, sophomore year, beating Longmeadow in the playoffs.
My favorite movie, TV show is Breaking Bad. My favorite pregame ritual is toast with peanut butter on it. And my favorite spring sports memory, right in this moment right now.
My favorite movie / TV show has to be Suits. My favorite pregame ritual is listening to music. My favorite spring sports memory is last year's playoff run to the Elite Eight.
My favorite movie is Superbad, and my favorite pregame ritual is listening to music. My favorite spring sports memory is winning the playoffs last year.
My favorite TV show, I'd say, is Family Guy. My favorite pregame ritual is having an energy drink before the game. My favorite spring sports memory is going out to breakfast with the boys.
Favorite TV show is All American. My favorite pregame ritual is listening to country music. And my favorite spring sports memory is getting to share a team with Chris Grenham.
My favorite TV show is SpongeBob. My favorite pregame ritual is probably just eating a peanut butter and jelly before the game. And my favorite spring sports memory is either last year's walk-off for Severian or freshman baseball with Arbo.
My favorite movie is Tron Legacy. My favorite pregame ritual is just vibing to some music. And my favorite spring sport memory is probably when I robbed Jerry Fry's home run in Little League.
My favorite TV show is The Sopranos. My favorite pregame ritual is eating chicken cutlets. And my favorite spring sports memory is sending Frankie Sheehan videos of my chicken cutlets after the games.
My favorite TV show is Love on the Spectrum Australia. And my favorite pregame ritual is taking a nap before I come to the game or practice. And my favorite spring sports memory is probably seeing Vinny record videos of his post-game chicken cutlet meal and sending it to Frankie Sheehan.
Good evening, folks. We're here at Peter Wall Field at the Balch Complex. We're here to watch the Mustangs as they host the Wolverines of Westwood. And I'm joined by my usual partner, Jim Keady, and we have a special guest from Westwood, really, but certainly with a lot of Norwood roots. All right, we want to introduce and say hi to Morgan Donahue. Morgan, you can tell us more about the Westwood team because you do some podcasts and other work with the Westwood Athletic Department, and then we can talk a little bit about Norwood.
Absolutely.
Right?
Well, guys, it is a pleasure to join you both. Jim, we missed you during the football season. Had a great time with Eddie. But Westwood, right now, in my opinion, the hottest team in the TVL. They've won 6 in a row. And they hold the key to their own destiny when it comes to chasing after TVL title. They're 1 game behind Holliston. They have Holliston on Wednesday. So if they can go out, get a good game, beat a Norwood, beat Dover Sherborne tomorrow, that would make for a very interesting game come Wednesday. And that's exactly what you want to be doing going to the playoffs, playing your best baseball, winning a TVL championship, just like any other team, and certainly setting a great stage for tonight.
Yeah. Jimmy, what do you
meanwhile, Norwood has to run the table and win the last 3 games to get to 500 and get a berth in the tournament. And start off with the leadoff batter. We're starting early tonight.
Yeah. All right, so Norwood's throwing a junior here, Dylan Begley. big, tall righty. He throws hard, and I've seen him throw a couple of times this year. His whole key is can he throw strikes, right? We got a breezy, cool night, not like we would have expected for mid-May, but as Jimmy said, no, it's been real streaky this year. They started 1-7. I think they played the toughest part of the schedule. Ripped off 5 wins 2 weeks ago. Last week had 4 games, and there's a line shot up the middle, clean base hit. And they had a tough week last week because their bats sort of went to sleep. They lost 2-0, 5-1, and 4-0. So they need to hit the ball a little bit against what Morgan says a pretty good young pitcher for Westwood to hunt.
You mentioned a good point, Eddie, is throwing strikes is huge. I once got tattered against Sandwich, and it was like 8 runs in a row, and I came off the field.
He threw it away.
That's going to go away.
It's out of play.
And Bob Hoffer, who's the pitching coach for Westwood, he said, it wasn't that bad. At least you threw strikes. So, the coaches like the strikes. The strikes, give your field a chance to be able to make plays. And
Absolutely. Yeah, you can't defend a walk. And there you saw Begley, who I think is probably a little nervous here. Most of the Norwood kids understand this is an important game to lead off the week. And he threw that ball away wild beyond first, so Westwood already threatens here with nobody out. They got their leadoff hitter at second base here.
So John Bertone, the catcher in there right now, he's a junior captain. There's 2 captains for the Wolverines, John, and then the 4-hitter, Drew Donahue, who was also captain on the football team. He was a safety for the Wolverines.
Yeah, we remember him when we did that game. Yes. He was outstanding in that game. Nice stop. Norwood's got a good senior catcher. All right, Pedro Oliveira.
Probably one of the most important positions, in my opinion, on the field, the catcher, keeping those balls in front of him, especially you got runners in scoring position. How's the catcher for Norwood? You've seen a lot more than I have.
He's improved immensely over the years.
Yeah.
When he first.
There's a ground ball to shortstop. Lockie looks to third, but he's going to make the throw. Oh, ball is out of the glove of that first baseman. Lockie had that runner going in front of him. Had a quick look. Looked like he would have had him at first.
Yeah, I think might have to give an E3
I think the elements, are certainly a factor. A little wind,
Wind's
cold.
blowing out to right.
Yeah. All right, we got number 20 here. Probably one of their big hitters.
Danny Leahy. So Danny Leahy was somewhat of a substitution player last year. This year, playing his best baseball, hitting over 400. He's been also a terrific pitcher for the Wolverines, coming and closing some games. So definitely one of the top players for the Wolverines so far this season.
Good size kid, huh?
Yeah.
All right.
Nice pitch.
Yeah. You guys both keeping score. What do we got for an infield here? I know Lockie's at short.
Yeah. So we got
for Norwood.
So Lockie
Sheehan's there at first.
Caden Sheehan at first.
Third base, Mike Grenham.
All right.
Second base, Frank Condi.
All right.
Keady.
Yeah, Frankie Keady. He's junior. Ooh, he plunked him there. That loads the bases with nobody out here. Yeah, Keady did a game. Where were you, Jimmy? You were away, I think, at one point.
I've been in a lot of travel.
Well, you have been. You're an international.
International.
Yes,
You got to catch up on that. I got to get some tips from you.
But the second baseman, young Keady, stepped in and did a game, a football game, like you did, Morgan. With I had some different folks this year work with us, and he did a great job. I mean, he had not played football. He's a baseball guy, but he knew all the kids. That was the perspective. Sort of like you, Morgan, because you had the perspective of the Westwood kids in that game. We weren't surprised when somebody made a good play because you had already said, this is who you could almost call them some of the plays. This is who they're going to be going to.
The best is when
Yeah.
you have the students and you ask them, could you tell they were a special player growing up? And they're like, oh, they talk about Little League. They talk
Yeah.
about all these different
Yeah.
teams they played for.
Yeah.
So keep an eye on Drew Donahue. He was the guy I was telling you, the 4-hitter for Westwood,
This him
senior
here?
captain.
Yeah.
Great fastball hitter. He can hit the ball a long way if he gets a good piece of that bat on it.
Well, it looks like the wind's blowing out, too.
It does, yeah.
if
A
I
little
have
towards
to
right
say.
field.
He's ahead on the count, 2-1 here. Gets under it, but I think this is going to be a
Get there. That's a long run for the right fielder.
Oh,
So
wow.
out of
Foul
play.
ball.
Yeah.
But
Hockey was in between them all.
So guys, what new to this field? What are any unique ground rules, if any, for this field when it comes to? Everyone's got some special ones with their home field.
well, I don't know if there's anything
nothing special
crazy,
here.
but the thing that's most interesting, the right field is 355 down the line.
Yeah.
So if you see a ball or two a year, and that's Legion and high school, go over that right field fence. That's a long poke.
Yeah.
And it's essentially the same as Fenway Park, 400 to dead center there. That's a ball in the dirt for ball 4, which will force a run in. And one of your old coaches, Morgan, Tommy O'Leary's coming out.
Yeah.
I think he might make a change right now.
He is.
Yeah. Yeah, so Begley...
We're going to bring, I think, the center fielder in to pitch.
Yeah.
Me and Eddie have seen some shots right over the 400-foot side.
Yeah.
Line drive, Johnny
Really?
Gorman,
yeah.
Jesse Shaughnessy.
Now, how long has this been the home field for Norwood? Does this go back to the Richie Hebner days?
No.
No, they used to
playing
play
by
at the Norwood High.
Was that like near the old cemetery?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I heard some great stories over the years about him hitting batting practice, and all these scouts down there, and just all they had to see was 2 or 3 hits, and they said, "Okay, this kid's special."
Yeah.
And believe it or not, a lot of people thought hockey was his better sport.
So Milt Smith, and everyone here knows Milt Smith. He said Richie Hebner was the only American that he wanted, and that is high praise because there was no Americans playing in the NHL back then. It was all Canadians.
That's
and
right.
It was only six NHL
And
teams.
there's no Russians and Europeans and no Americans. And I remember the funny thing wasn't it over at, your uncle and your father would remember this, at Boston College, Snooks Kelly, there was a guy, Snooks Kelly, he went the opposite way. He only used American kids over there at BC, which was good for a lot of the Norwood folks that we remember.
Yep.
Doyle and Darcy out of CM, who were Norwood kids, and Mikey Martin played over there. But you're right. I mean, American hockey was different in those days. So
Ran into Fred Kinsman during the Friends of St. Nick, looking great, and he's always got some BC. You know what's great about him? You could talk to him about BC teams 5 years ago. He knows all the players.
He does. Well, he played on a famous line over there: York, Kinsman, and Kupka.
This is Moreno here, right?
Yeah.
Jaden Moreno, who.
The velocity's not going to be as the last pitcher was, but
but I think
just want to get some outs here.
Right, now it needs strikes.
Teddy McGowan in for the Wolverines, freshman third base. He's been fantastic this season. Started every game.
Well, that's unusual. I know Norwood, we very, very infrequently have had a freshman. Ooh, he's under that, and if it stays fair, it's a
infield fly.
Yep. Caden Sheehan will put that away for the first out. This is a big number 23, big kid here.
Luke Chandler. So Luke Chandler, he's the number 1 pitcher for the Wolverines. Great hitter as well. He's going to be playing baseball next year at Husson up in Maine.
Oh, Husson, sure.
Yeah, that's a big lacrosse school.
Yeah. Good football school too.
We sent one of our great athletes up there years ago, 50 more years ago, Ernie Pachakowski. Was up there.
I thought you were going to say Nardelli, didn't he?
Oh, Nardelli did go up there to play lacrosse, and was he a long snapper? That family there were.
This is a large young man.
He's a big guy.
Kid if he gets a hold of one.
6'4", 5".
Yeah, lives in my neighborhood. Call it the Maze back home. It's right across from the high school.
Ooh, that's a big out there. Strikeout.
That might have been an off-speed pitch.
So Marino has come in and done a nice job
Two
here.
quick outs.
Yeah, gotta get this third one.
Be a good thing if he can just limit this to one run.
Yeah. Yeah, so 2 down, the base is still loaded.
So fun fact, I believe Bomber, Tommy O'Leary and Brian Whalen, roommates in college.
Were they?
At
Yeah.
Stonehill, I believe.
Could be, yeah. I know they're very good friends. I mean, that's an interesting sidelight of this game.
And Bomber's sister, that's a well-hit ball to left.
Well, he's got it though,
Yeah.
and Marino does a great job of getting out of the inning without allowing any more runs there.
I think Whalen was a hockey player, wasn't he?
He was.
In
Yeah.
Stonehill.
I think it might have been hockey and baseball, but obviously stand out at Norwood in 1989, 1990 grad.
Yeah.
But heck of an athlete. But not only the connection between them at Stonehill, but Brian Whalen's wife and Bomber's sister, close friends.
All right.
Both part of the class of '91 at Westwood High School. So it's
game tonight, a game tomorrow against a pretty strong Hopkinton.
Yep.
And then Thursday, one of their 4 out of league games, they got to go up to Walpole and face Chris Costello's team, which is
that's
good.
a great team.
Yeah.
Great pitching.
But
Walpole has some really good pitching.
Yeah, but you were saying that Wayland is going to have his team play in a tournament.
Yeah, they got some tournament at the end of the week. Yeah, I believe some tournament in Braintree. BC High will be in it, I believe. So there's no better way to play some good teams, get some good ranking points to help benefit you for your positioning in the playoffs.
Yeah. What we were saying that Norwood started 1-7. Well, some of those games, they stepped up and they played Zavarian, they played Braintree, and they played Natick early in the season. I think that this game, and then there's a line shot for a fair ball. All right. Lockie leads with a base hit, as just like Westwood had led with a hit. Yeah, so this will be an interesting and a good chance for Westwood at the end of their season to match up against probably some of the elite teams.
Yeah. Got to give a shout out to Bomber. What a play call there. So bases loaded, 1 out. It seemed like Westwood could get some runners across the plate, makes the pitching change. They get out of the inning. Now Norwood has a runner on, no outs, and they could, get Larky across the plate and make it a tie game after.
Not easy. I mean, you don't want to take a kid out that started, but when they're struggling with their control, there's not much you can do. I mean, if they hit 4 home runs off him, at least he's throwing strikes, like you said. But no, that wasn't the case. All right, that's a pop-up by Mike Grenham. Easy play for the second baseman.
Charles Martin, senior for the Wolverines.
Yeah. All right, Grenham, one of twin brothers that play here on you got Ryan Grenham and Mike Grenham, and he also got their cousin, a senior who plays. They're juniors, and cousin Chris Grenham also playing. Yeah, there's a little squiver.
Shot. Stays
tough
in
play.
My goodness, that looked like it had started outside of play and came back in.
Yeah, good play by the pitcher. Got Caden Sheehan by a step or 2 there.
That's always a smart play too. When you see it kind of huddling that line and you know you have the chance to get the runner out, don't wait on it. Pick it up as quickly as possible, get it off to first, and smart play by the sophomore.
He had enough time, and he underhanded it, but it moves Lockie into scoring position, and our cleanup hitter, number 4, Angel Oliveira here, our catcher. Takes that curveball high. We'll see O'Leary in action maybe here. He's the third base coach. Jimmy Flynn for Norwood coaching over at first base.
Nice pitch there.
Such important positions, those coaches there, letting you know how much more room you have to take a secondary lead, things like that, which really make a difference when plays at the plate.
Bomber's a good, real good baseball man.
Ooh. Nice off-speed pitch there by Hunt.
Out in front a bit there, Angel.
One ball, 2 strikes, 2 outs.
You'll get that ball up into that stream there. He does, but it's a little pop, and the second baseman again puts it away. So after one here at the Balch, Westwood has taken a 1-0 lead. Are we on between innings here? What's the story here, Jimmy? You know?
I believe we are until the commander says we're not.
You got to be careful with what you're saying.
Well, I haven't said anything untowards yet.
Yeah, that's the key there. Mike Sheehan's here. I see that he was standing over there. I want to congratulate him if he comes over here. I heard he won the post-70 Legion 0K yesterday.
No, actually, he was not even in attendance.
Well, how did he win the thing?
I don't know. He must have came late.
So, Eddie, as a Westwood guy, you know, we've always been keen on Norwood. You know, one of our crosstown towns, and the sports have always been tremendous. The Bay State League, and then when the opportunity arose to join, what an incredible, I think, opportunity for Westwood to really beef up its rivalry game. We had Medfield, we had some of these other ones, but nothing really close enough. And part of it is the knowledge and the appreciation, and hear so many stories about Pete Wall, and even like the old hockey coach too was an assistant baseball coach for many years, or was he the JV coach for many years?
Don Wheeler.
Don Wheeler. Yes.
Yeah, he was the JV coach there for Pete. Yeah.
You got those two guys coaching. You can't jaywalk in front of them. It sounds like you got to be best behavior. What was it like playing for a couple legends like that?
Yeah, Pete was sophomore year. I had we played for Don. That was different. But then he graduated to play for Peter, and he won. I don't know, won somewhere around 575 games in 35 years at Norwood. There was no nonsense, that's for sure. But they were real simple, fundamental guys, I thought. And in those days, that the youth coaches in Little League and Babe Ruth were outstanding. So they didn't have to teach you quite so much either.
Yeah,
so.
I wasn't like...
Ooh, there's a line shot, but Larky makes a scoop and makes that good throw.
Some sure hands there by Larky.
Yeah.
One pitch, one out.
Yeah, well, Marino looks like he's going to throw strikes, so Westwood sees that, and they're going to swing the bats, all right? Larky's probably their most outstanding
Is there anything
fielder.
that he is average at? I mean, everything I've seen, basketball, football, baseball, terrific athlete.
Yeah, he is. He's we talked before. Morgan had said he's got a sister who's by far seems to be the finest field hockey player we've had at Norwood. She's going to Cornell next year to play, I hear. There's a little bouncer. That's
what an incredible season they had.
Yeah. Looks like Dylan Begley over here at
they've switched
third base. They made a change there, so he can re-enter because he is the starting pitcher.
They weren't using the DH, so...
Yeah, I noticed. I thought he was on deck when Oliveira hit here.
Westwood is using the DH tonight.
Right.
No, it wasn't.
Yeah. There's an easy bound to the second.
Quick runner.
Yeah, lefty.
I'd like to see that as a coach. Kids running down the baseline.
Yeah.
Something you can control is running down that baseline, making it a close play, forcing a little bit of pressure on that throw. Yeah. Anything can happen. So right back to the top of the order, Brennan Senjic, shortstop for the Wolverines, sophomore.
Well, it was funny. You just said he's a sophomore. Before the game, when we were talking to Tom O'Leary, and he said this league is a league of underclassmen.
It is, yeah.
He said that it's not that there aren't some decent seniors, but a lot of good underclassmen, and each of the good teams seems to be loaded with kids that will be back next year.
Yeah.
I think Norwood looks at it that way. They've had some good senior play this year, but you look out there now, and the infield will all be back. They're all juniors.
Yeah.
Ooh, that ball's hit good.
Yeah, not carrying.
No.
Oh, nice 1-2-3
nice
inning
play,
there.
Easy. So that was another good inning by Jaden.
Yeah, limited pitches, throwing strikes.
Right. That play was made by
Let's get
number
back to
1.
Mike Sheehan. He was not even in attendance.
Mike Grenham. Oh, I heard, maybe I just got a
yeah, he was teaching
the
a
wrong
real estate
report.
class yesterday. Is what it was. That was
what
my
he said.
information. I was there briefly.
Did you participate? How'd you do running?
I was the first one there, so I declared myself the winner. I was the first one sitting at the stool and inside.
Yeah, think about the TVL. Last year, it was very upper class heavy, mostly seniors, and it wasn't just that; it was kids who were playing at the next level. So, it's not just teams; it's the league too. I think has a whole kind of refresh in the program with the young kids, and like we said, freshman at third for Westwood, sophomore at shortstop, outfield, freshman left fielder. So it's a good combination of, you have some senior leadership in there, but they are getting more and more of these underclassmen in there, and they're earning playing time.
Yeah. Well, you brought up an interesting point, Morgan, that Norwood's move to the TVL was, let's say, controversial in this town.
Yeah.
We were pretty ensconced in the Bay State League and had some success over the years in all different sports. But anyway, Dedham made the move shortly before us, and I really feel in all the different sports that the only real traditional rivalry we've established here is with Westwood.
Yeah.
I don't see Ashland, Hopkinton, none of those, is Begley up, right, batting fifth. I don't see that, but I see it we definitely saw it in that football game.
Yeah.
And knowing one of the coaches over there, Johnny Chisholm, pretty good, he told me there's a nubber down the first baseline, and the pitcher again feels his position.
Another squibber.
Yeah. But Chizzy was saying that Westwood, their staff, looks upon that Norwood game is as important a game as even the Thanksgiving Holliston game.
Yeah.
And I see it in baseball. There's a natural rivalry here between Igo and Wayland, also with Bomber in the mix and everybody. This is going to be a good, in two pretty good programs.
Yes.
Since Norwood's entered against it in the Tri-Valley League.
There's some carryover too, Eddie. When you look at the rosters, there's a lot of football players on Westwood. There's a lot of football players on Norwood.
Yeah.
And they're competitors. Whatever it is, they want to win.
Well, you mentioned that before we started tonight, that some of these same names that you saw on the lineup for baseball, we were calling for both teams this fall in the football. This number 5 here, this is the pitcher, Jaden Marino.
Yes. If we go back in history too, Eddie, one of them, so the gym at Westwood High School is named after a guy named George Bader. You know where you went to high school?
Probably Norwood. He's
Norwood
probably one of the Baders from South Norwood, I'll bet you.
And this guy was a stud. I found newspaper articles of him, I believe, in the 30s or 40s, and there was a Bartuka there too. And I go, he's got to be related to the kid we were calling the football games, the linebacker.
Yes,
it was incredible.
Yeah.
But George Bader was an incredible athlete. He was the AD at Westwood High School for 34 years.
Wow.
In the 70s, and I think ended up retiring in the early 80s.
Yeah, there was a fellow that was approximately my age, Nicky Bader. My guess was that George would have been an uncle of his, and I remember that name because they were South Norwood folks, and there's there's always a back and forth between the Norwood and the Westwood. The people, and you sit right in the middle of it.
I do, yeah, I do.
Your father was one of the Norwood's best hockey players in the very early 60s. Your uncle, Bobby, played on some of the best Norwood teams a few years later with Hebner's and people like that.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, your father, decided to go to Westwood, or you would have been a Mustang. You would have had blood blue.
Oh, I did. I did. I played in prep school with Justin Manchester, who was a Norwood hockey player. So that was it was a good Norwood connection there. He was class of 2005.
Yeah. All right, Marino has drawn a walk.
Kevin Roach is all grown up.
Yeah, Roachy.
He was one of the smallest kids on the team a couple of years ago.
Now, how much small ball do you see out of Norwood? You got Marino on first. Do they look to steal, or is it certain personnel type matchups?
Igo's not really big into the small
ball.
Yeah. Well, I think he sees your catcher here, who's
he's got a good pop.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I think he's not going to run into outs. I mean, there's a thought that they need to steal a few runs. Their bats have been a little cool, to say the least.
Yeah.
But on the other hand, you can't give away outs either in this.
No, that's why it's always like a game of chess.
Roachy's 3-0 here. Takes one right down the middle there, but that's all right. Roachy's been playing all over the place. He's out in right field here today for Coach Igo. All right, so now he's going to threaten here with 2 walks.
So, Eddie, you mentioned the podcast I have. We bring a lot of alumni back. And question for you guys. Eddie, you played baseball at Norwood, part of the class of 72, I believe.
I did, yeah.
And then Jim,
a long time ago.
You baseball
track
as well?
Runner. No, track.
What, your son played baseball?
Yeah.
Was he Norwood?
Yeah.
How special is it to come to these games, and do you still feel that connection to the blue and blue and yellow?
I mean, I've been watching before and after my son. So,
yeah.
It
never leaves
Even
you.
when I was a little kid, I was watched the Legion play down behind the Norwood Civic, which is where Norwood Hospital is now.
Yeah.
There was a baseball field there right at the bend in the road.
Yeah.
And they would play Ted Williams teams on the 4th of July.
Yeah.
Exhibition games.
2 runners on, 1 out. Checking
there's
first.
a quick. He threw it away though. No one's got a chance. Is he going to send him?
No.
Go.
He's going to send him.
Right.
Yeah, that bobble was it.
Yeah, the right fielder sort of overran it a bit, and I think they would have held. Coach O'Leary was going to hold up Marino, but Marino saw that slight bobble and right and scored standing up. So.
And Roach gets the second too, so can't underestimate that. He's there second with 1 out.
I was never a big fan of those pickoff attempts at first behind the runner.
They're growing.
Nice throw.
Roachy might have been dead.
I think the third base might have tried to tag him before he got the ball.
I think he did.
Now we're starting to see a little bit of that small ball, though. A rivalry game, and taking some calculated risks.
Right. And this Bautista who's just come up to the varsity. He was the outstanding freshman last year. He's a sophomore. As usual, Igo has done this in the past. Give some of the older kids, the seniors particularly, a chance, and towards the end of the year, not afraid to bring up the young kids. He's had 2 sophomore pitchers up, Hultgren and young Bobby Griffin. And Bautista here, who can throw a bit too, is in the lineup here tonight. He rips that ball to second, and that will score a run.
Yeah, nice situational hitting there.
Yeah, made good contact, and now it jumped out to a 2-1 lead here in the second.
So something you said there, Eddie, is, I think the best managers are like Igo and Whalen, where they're not afraid to play these young guys. And do you know how important that is for their confidence? By the time they're juniors and seniors, that's a well-hit ball. Center.
But
Leahy going to track that down.
Looked like Sean Keady out there in center field. Who was that? Keady hitting there?
Yep.
Yeah, Frank Keady, second baseman. All right, so after 2, it's taking a 2-1 lead here.
So one of my dad's favorite stories.
See, it's
One of my dad's favorite stories, got to ask you guys, was he got a knock on his door, and it's Sales Wall saying, "Charlie, I'm Sales Wall, Frank Wall. I'm going to be your Little League coach for the Braves." And it made his day. Just, my God, this guy came to me to tell me that he was going to be my coach.
Yeah.
What was your earliest memories when it came to baseball in the town of Norwood?
Well, I remember when I was 12 years old. I'll go really back a long way. And Norwood had some good youth teams. And the year I was 11, there was 2 12-year-old kids here in Norwood, Billy Travis and Greg Lang.
Yeah.
And they were, when they pitched in a game, it was usually a no-hitter.
Yeah.
You can understand why. Travis one year pitched through 230 innings in the major leagues for, I think, the Brewers.
That's
and
incredible.
Made an all-star team. So obviously they were head and shoulders. And Lang went out to Arizona, went to school, unfortunately gets sick. Mm-hmm. And but Frank Wall, at the time, was writing a column here in the local paper. And he wanted to see how good how good are they? They're great in Norwood, but are they any good? So he formed a team in 1965 called Colombo's All-Stars. And he set up all the games himself, got the umpires. He got a guy named Frank Clark who owned Colombo's, a little sub shop in South Norwood.
Yep.
And the following year, I was a 12, and to get asked to be on that team was the best thing. Probably the worst thing that my parents ever heard, because it meant we were going to go and play about 35 games in a month.
All over.
But there's a ground ball. Begley scoops and makes the throw for the out. But it was a great year, and some of those kids that I played with, and I say kids, they weren't. We were 12 years old. Chris Dixon, Joey Pacello, Brian Clower, they're still they're still friends of mine. Yep. And we had the greatest, most of us would tell you that we had the greatest summer of our lives playing for Frank Wall, who was the head, and he had a guy named Gary Moss and Mitty Cooperats.
Related to Blaine Moss at all?
Yeah, Gary was his younger brother.
Yep.
Well, there's a ball ripped to right field. Base hit there.
Danny Leahy.
Leahy.
Yep.
Minty was a great guy.
Great guy, right. Minty, the basketball courts right next door here, we got the Pete Wall baseball field. The basketball courts are named for Minty Cooperats, who
really cool.
was a classmate of Peter Wall in the late 50s. But yeah, I know exactly. And, for your father to play for the Braves, that was a big thing.
Yeah.
Because the Braves were every year was good. Frank he just was a good baseball guy that taught, really the fundamentals. And that's another.
It's on the
Keady,
ground.
does he have a chance?
No. Wow.
Almost took his glove
That
off.
was an absolute
Keady
line
made a
drive
dive
by
in it.
Donahue.
Wow. That thing was hit, both those balls hit right on the nose.
And Eddie, have you ever seen the pictures of the Little League dinners? Where it's like all rows and like the kids are in this section, the parents are in this section. Like what an amazing historical photo if you haven't seen one.
Yeah, we used to have them at the junior high, right?
Junior high.
Yeah. We got a couple at my house, and my dad. I play the game of where's mom and where's my dad, where's my grandparent. It's hysterical.
I think Hebner was a guest of honor at one of them.
There's a fly to center field.
19.
Yeah, easy play. Number 12 out there, Bautista, made that play. All right, number 23, the big boy here.
Chandler.
Chandler.
He's got the power to hit one out of the park
if
he gets a bat on it.
Now, will Chandler be in line to throw tonight too if they needed him at the end of the game?
They got a big week, so he's most likely going to go against Holliston on Wednesday. Yeah.
That was a nice pitch by Marino. Yeah, I think Kevin Igo's taking it one game at a time.
Yeah, that's all you can. Both teams have the same problem. They got to play like 5 games in 6 days.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
And yesterday was a rare Sunday game.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
Nice
nice off-speed
curveball
pitch
by
there.
Marino.
He settled in, coming in the first, and is really finding his groove.
Yeah. Well, he's got a 1-2 count with 2 outs here. It's a big batter for him, though. He's got a top out the shot. Lockheed throws,
Tagged
but
him.
Caden
Nice.
Sheehan made a nice play. Came off the bag and made that tag up the line. Yeah.
No, it retains the 2-1 lead.
Yeah. Yeah, this is
I think Jack's working us hard tonight. No breaks between innings. And
and this is live?
Yeah, it's
Giving
live.
the people what they want.
Yeah, live.
Giving the people what they want.
Yeah. Well, this is like football weather tonight, Jim.
This is.
We've had some rough weather nights down here. The night they didn't have a tent for us. It was pouring the whole game. I think they ruined their equipment budget for the year.
Right.
All their equipment.
Yeah.
And then the last time the batteries failed after 5 innings.
Yeah. Urka's got more clothes on than most hockey coaches outdoors. Yeah. We should mention that's the Norwood staff this year. We've got long-time assistants to Coach Kevin Igo, and that'd be
Norwood guys, Norwood grads.
yeah, well, Urka definitely
nothing
is. We went over to Westwood to get O'Leary.
Yeah.
Jimmy Flynn's a CM.
And Jimmy
kid, I
Flynn,
think.
who's got Norwood roots, but a CM. Yeah, and yeah, that's and I heard periodically when he gets a chance, Jimmy Sweeney comes down and works with the pitchers a little bit. His kids are getting a little older, and for the same reason that Whalen stepped back a bit. Jimmy, who was, of course, for many years, has been here sort of as a pitching guru, but
He could hit the ball.
He could
believe
hit a
me,
ball.
in college, the Patriot League,
Player of the Year,
Holy
right?
Cross.
Holy
yeah.
Cross,
Holy
yeah.
Cross.
He was
yeah.
a hitter and a pitcher there.
Yeah.
Got drafted.
Yeah.
Hockey
Ground
again
ball
down
right
there.
at the third baseman.
Third base
Cleans,
side.
Nice play. They take care of Lockheed, the leadoff hitter, for the first out of the inning.
That's a good adjustment there by McGowan. So Larkey had that first hit right down the
Right
line,
by
and
him,
he
yeah.
was a little bit closer to the line there, make the play, and just you always hear that in baseball. Was that you last time? And you make
Yeah.
sure to make adjustments based off of the feedback you got.
All right. One of the brothers here, Michael Grenham.
Buzzed him inside corner.
Yeah. He just taps it. Nice play.
Oh.
Ooh, but he beat it. He hustled down that line. Right? From that left-hand batter's box, he was able to get down there.
There was one little pump fake.
Yeah, well, he
one
waited
little,
for that hop.
bobble.
He waited for that hop just because it was a little bit of a chopper.
Yeah.
And he threw an absolute fastball to first base, still not in
He
time.
had a little problem getting it out of his glove first, but that was the difference here. I don't know if we're going to get a squall in here.
Yeah,
hope
get the
not.
wind picking up
Without
a
a
little
tent again.
All right. Caden Sheehan steps out, calls time here. He's the third batter for Norwood. Well, they send Grenham. Grenham's got a little bit of speed over there. He doesn't have much of a lead, though. Ooh.
Where did that?
Caden Sheehan sounds like a football name from the football season. Either that or basketball.
Well, Caden Sheehan was a quarterback on the football team this past
That's
year.
what
He'll
it
be
was.
a senior quarterback this year.
More of a runner.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And but he's starting to grow. I think he's going to throw the ball good. He had a kid last year, Dearborn. This year he'll throw to Lockheed.
Yeah.
And undoubtedly, Lockheed was a good receiver last year.
Dearborn was dealing with some injuries when Westwood played, but he was ready to come
Yes.
basketball season. He was a
Yeah.
heck of
There
an
goes
athlete.
Grenham. Ooh, what a gun. But
he's in there.
just got in there. Head first slide, just got in. Grenham, I tell you. tell you, Sheehan's been one of the better hitters. Grenham and Sheehan, I think consensus is that they probably have hit the ball as well as anybody this year for Igo. See if he can plate this runner.
Not going to be the worst thing if the Wolverines put him on base. They got a good field that can get double play balls, so I've seen a few of them this season.
They got a guy on deck that could hit it. He hits it hard, and he's a big kid.
Yeah.
Pedro Oliveira.
Well, full count. See what we do with the runner.
Angel.
I swear. Didn't we call him Pedro last year? I forget things. There's a top. No, O'Leary's got to make that play. He's got to protect us.
Still got it.
Right. Yeah, he needs to be a little closer over here to us because you didn't bring your glove today, did you? Either you two? No, I didn't think so. No. There's a pop-up that's out of play. Interrupt the major softball game going on over there.
Coaches love this. A little battle going on by because you're getting the pitcher to throw some more pitches. And ideally, if you want to get to the bullpen.
And there is a pitch limit, right?
There is, There's a pitch limit.
115. Ooh,
that was a great pitch by Hunt to get the strikeout.
He waved at a ball outside, I think. There.
He was trying to go that way.
Yeah.
That's a big strikeout after
it was
getting the stolen base, having runner on second with one out.
All right, 2 down, and
Oliveira's got those catcher's legs.
He's a big kid, isn't
tree
he?
Trunks.
Yeah. Ooh, he took one. Took one. That breaking ball. It certainly wasn't. Didn't mean it. All right, we're going to have a runner here, which is allowed.
Yeah, we see this a lot for catchers and see it for pitchers too.
Yes.
Which is common.
Well, with Oliveira, as big as he is, obviously he's not quite as speedy, but that's a difference of, you talk about, going back to playing ball. That was never allowed when when Jimmy and I were playing.
It would take about 7 minutes to put the equipment on, and, 2 outs and whatnot, running back. But so when I understand too, like the substitution's now a little different than what it used to be, but it's allowing more people to get involved in the game, which is a good thing for the game.
And Igo's great at that, right? He gets kids into the game. Now, granted, it might only be as a pinch runner or whatever, but at least you get off the bench. And that's Galvin down there, James Galvin, who is got a big lead off of first. So next inning he will not catch. Oliveira would be back catching. Ooh, there's a sky-high pop.
Warren tracking. The wind certainly a factor. Great job there by Warren.
O'Leary having these guys hustle it out because that wind is tough.
Big time.
Big crosswind going on.
Yep. But
he had to move over about 15, 20 feet. Just at the end to make that catch. Great adjustment.
Left fielder made the play though, and they escaped with no runs scored. 2-1 still.
You're talking about Richie Hebner earlier. I see him. He works at the funeral home down the road here at Cross.
Is he still,
and he's in Walpole.
Is he still digging? Is he still getting the workouts?
No, I don't think he's not digging any graves.
No.
Right.
He's at the final, the second final stop, not the final stop.
So I understand. Jumpin' Joe Dugan lived in Norwood.
Yes.
Yeah, and some great baseball history.
Dugan was a frequent customer at the
Irish Heaven.
At the Irish Heaven.
Yes.
And he was quite a storyteller, especially since he had played and
was he Babe Ruth's
supposedly roomed with Ruth.
Yeah,
which would tell you a lot. But
Ray Chandler too, wasn't he? Was another funeral home guy, right? Chandler?
Ray Martin.
Ray Martin.
Ray Martin. Yeah, he gave up a home run to his brief stay in the majors. Ray Martin, he gave up a home run to Babe Ruth, supposedly. Yeah.
So great stories. The town of Norwood.
When are you gonna go down there and work for Craw?
When I get to be 70. 70. I'm 60, almost 68 now.
My dad said he was in Malaysia in the Peace Corps, and he goes to a bar just to check in on kind of the times. That's where you had to figure out what's going on in the world. And they have the World Series on, and who does he see on TV playing? 18 years old, Richie Hebner.
Yeah.
You know, in front of the whole world, and playing with guys like Manny Sanguin, Roberto Clemente, Mazeroski.
Yeah.
He couldn't have been more proud of Richie and also the town of Norwood, being represented on the big stage like that. It was a really cool story when he talks about it.
Richie can tell some stories, they say. He's an interesting guy. I mean, he played all over.
Yeah.
It wasn't just like you mentioned the Pirates team he played on. He hit a home run in the World Series for the Pirates. But he was down in Philadelphia with some of those guys, Lazinski and Tug McGraw.
Mm-hmm.
He was he's with the Mets, the Tigers, and then come back, and just missed there. It looked like came back when Joe Morgan was the Red Sox manager.
Morgan
there,
Magic,
and Richie was the hitting coach for him there for a year. Yeah,
I believe. I believe he played for Joe in the minors.
He could have. That always interested me because Richie's MO when he was playing was that he never saw a pitch he didn't like. He didn't care where it was. He came out swinging.
Yeah.
And and I don't think he probably was a great guy for analytics. He might have an issue with that these days. Oh, spoils that 3-2 pitch here.
Battling off there is Max.
Who's this?
Max
18.
Max Burrell.
Yeah.
His father, a Westwood grad. A lot of on this Westwood team, a lot of parents Westwood grads. Love to see that. Families being raised in town. Yeah.
Ooh, you hit that. Looks like he's got a gap here.
Yeah, that's going to work its way to the wall. It's a one-handed swing that had a lot of power there.
No, he's only going to get 2 there. Reached out and hit that ball.
That was a one-handed swing, and just what a good timing on that to get that in the gap and get to second base as a leadoff hit.
Yeah. Who was that? Was that?
He's a guy that
Bautista.
If he hits like that, he's a guy that has been kind of mixing and matching in the lineup. You hit like that, that's going to really solidify this.
Hit that ball good.
These hitters for the Wolverines.
Take the bunt there.
Yep. Charlie Martin, senior second base for the Wolverines, showing bunt.
Now, you asked us, we'll ask you. You see more of Westwood. Is Whalen more of a guy? Oh, that's a nice bunt.
It is a nice bunt.
Oliveira makes a nice play. Comes out barehanded.
So this is so you're probably asking, I'm guessing, about the small ball type stuff. He
Yeah.
is. And one thing is, he'll never underestimate the importance of having a guy at third base.
Yeah.
And the reason being, pass balls, wild
Absolutely.
pitches. He could do a safety squeeze. Coach Whalen is not afraid to do a safety squeeze to play small ball. No. Safety squeeze, a guy like Warren who can get the ball down, keep an eye on that. I've seen him do it in the playoffs. I've seen him do it in the regular season where he'll do a squeeze to get a run across the board and play that chess match.
Mm. Well, this may not prove to be true, but it looks like, in the fourth inning, these are 2 pretty evenly matched teams.
Yeah.
And it certainly seems that way because the first game, they played an extra inning game.
Yeah.
And many will tell you that Norwood thought they had that game and had a fairly easy play in the infield that was misplayed and ended up tying the game, and then Westwood beat them in extra innings. So, 1 run could be important. Yeah. All right, but he's going to draw a walk.
So this is where it'll get interesting. So Warren is a guy who's got some speed. And we're talking about small ball. Part of the small ball is first and third situations.
Right.
And are you going to give him second base if he steals? That's what they're going to talk through. So Westwood's got to figure out what they're going to do, but Norwood also too. Do you throw it to second? Because if you throw it to second, third base, Burrow can work his way home if the throw gets there. Or do you throw it to the cutoff where they eat it, make sure that the guy stays on third? So.
Yeah, I don't. It's funny. Well, there's the name. There's the play.
So he's saying the play right there.
8-4-2-5-9-3.
So he's saying what they're going to do if you see a runner steal. And Warren's a guy who's got some wheels.
8-4-5-9-2-3. You know, Morgan, you need your old friend Tom Fryer Folan.
Oh, he'll break the code.
He could break a code.
I was thinking of Midway, the guy in Midway who was able to break the code. You know?
He can tell you what's going to happen here.
That's a rip.
Watch this line.
It's going to hit the ground.
Hit right
Burrell
in front
scores.
That ball was hit well, too.
Yep. So a nice piece of hitting there by Senjik.
We're up to the top of the order here, too.
Yeah.
Second hitter.
Great piece of hitting there by Senjik.
All right, so Westwood's tied it up 2-2, and they threatened with men on first and second, and one down here. Coach Igo taking a walk here. I don't know if he's thinking of warming somebody here.
But interesting situation, as we were saying before the game, Eddie, is both these teams got to play 5 games in 6 days.
Yeah.
And you are going to have to kind of go deep into your bullpen. You're going to have to, have guys pitch a lot of innings for you to be able to get you through the week.
There's one that did, Morgan, just like you said.
Yep.
The advantage of having move
Guy
all
on
the
third
runners
base.
up.
Yeah.
As good as Oliveira
That's
is.
a bunt right there.
Yep.
Yeah,
as good as Oliveira is, he had no chance to
That's the
block
thing
that
about
ball.
these fields, especially the turf fields are a little bit more consistent with those bounces. And what I noticed when I played here years ago, the ball goes into the infield so quickly, and it's great for infielders to some extent if it doesn't hit something, but very quick infield.
And the thing with this field is a lot of room behind home plate.
Yeah. Which is great for pop-ups, not great for pass balls.
Right. Exactly. All right, Igo plays the infield in here. Foul back there. He's got them all the way around in on the edge of the grass here. So he doesn't want to give up a run here. And Marino's got a 2-2 count here.
2s are wild.
Ooh, that's another ball that's ripped. That's going to score 2.
Sending Senjik.
Yeah, he's going to score easy. They
score
throw towards the
up.
plate, but no chance there.
Big piece of hitting there. John Bertone, 2-run single.
I'll tell you, Morgan, they've hit some line shots.
Yeah,
Isn't it?
they're starting to get their bats going.
Yeah. And they've taken a 4-2 lead. Well, catch up.
So they're going to have a pinch runner for Bertone. Looks like Sean Blomqvist, captain of the hockey team, going to come out and run for John Bertone.
You were saying, now, with Norwood, they pinch run because they have a lot of people on the bench that's just quicker than Oliveira.
Yeah.
But there are leagues in places that, in order to speed the game up, they don't want, like you had said, the catcher to have to come off the field, put all his equipment on. By the time you figure out that some kid grabs a glove to warm the pitcher up.
Yeah.
Oh,
that ball gets away.
That's a pass
I think
ball.
we jinxed them earlier.
Yeah.
Well, both of them are timely situations, having a pinch runner come out. But that, in my opinion, that's 45 seconds where the catching, when you have to get the equipment on, lug it on after running in the field, that's a couple minutes.
Yes, right. And like I said, usually, the guy like you talked about, Peter Wall and people like that, before the game started, he would designate somebody.
Yeah.
Hey, in our case, it was a guy, Billy Donahue was our catcher. If Donahue's on the bases, hey, Morgan Donahue, you get out there and warm up the pitcher. It wasn't like, well, who wants to grab a catcher's glove and go out there? It was already organized and designated that either the backup catcher or somebody went out and got things moving.
Now, was Peter Wall in full uniform during games?
Oh, absolutely.
Oh, I loved it.
Never saw anything
Except when
less.
he would be throwing his hat.
Do you have a little,
kicking it.
Do you have a little Billy Bean in him?
Throw his hat.
That's
hey,
a chopper
be
heading our way.
careful over here.
Yep.
Where's Jack? Is Tolman on that?
I caught a piece of the NCM mobile.
Yeah, but I'll tell you, Jack didn't exactly jump after that ball.
It goes. I think our salaries in that SUV there, the NCM.
Yeah. Oh, there's a ground ball right at Lockheed. Looks him back.
Nice play.
Makes a nice play there.
Checking in on second.
Ooh, they threw
Gets back
behind him.
safely is
Caden
Blomqvist.
Sheehan. Yeah.
He's a sure-handed shortstop, and he makes it look easy. And these are not easy play. He was basically in the hole making that play.
Right. Well, I like one thing about it. We've had some good shortstops. Yeah, we got a kid that's up at Endicott now. He's playing third base. Endicott's like the third or fourth best team in the country in that league.
Yeah.
All right, Robbie Wachowski. And he was, there's
that's
a ball
a
ripped. Now, will he score or not?
Blomqvist is being
yeah, he will. He's going to score.
Waved around third. He's going to score
now
standing up. Donahue on to second.
And he's in there if he hangs a bag, and he does.
Big piece of hitting there by Drew Donahue.
Yeah, Wachowski was a shortstop. I think he started as a freshman, Jimmy.
Mm-hmm.
Did we see him in freshman?
Yeah.
He was a big, strong kid, even young. And he would play deeper than Lockie here. He'd play at the edge of the grass because he had such a strong arm. Lockie is not quite as strong an arm, but he plays, and I love the way he plays because he almost plays too deep.
Yeah.
So that he has to charge the ball
He
all
can
the
come
time.
up,
He
he goes
doesn't,
for it,
right.
yeah.
He comes at the ball, makes the play, and then he's moving towards the bag to make the throw at first. That ball gets away. And
Think about Lockie, too. He sees the bounce, so he knows how to play the bounce.
Right.
And he's a guy that can make that throw on the run.
Yeah.
That's not an easy throw to make for shortstops. He makes it look pretty easy.
Yeah, I don't know, here comes O'Leary again. Are we going to have a change or just a conference here?
I'm guessing body language, just having a couple words. They got 2 outs here.
He had already made up his mind when he made the move to Marino in the first. But Westwood's had a big inning here and scored 3 to take a 5-2 lead here.
Shout out to Bomber Senior. He was an impactful coach in Westwood High School, and so many one-liners that he would say. He would keep you laughing, and just an amazing guy. I used to drive by his house. He'd have the shirt off, cutting the lawn. Just about a man's man.
Yeah. Now, Sean must have played for him at some point. Huh?
Yeah.
In the summers.
Yeah.
Both my boys did. They love playing for him.
Eddie, we used to see him at the football golf tournament, the Charles Donahue golf tournament.
Oh, sure.
He would be there every year.
Yeah. He was like the guy between us here.
Yes.
He always brought a pencil with an eraser on it.
Especially in golf.
Yeah, the magic pencil.
Yeah. What he was noted for in Norwood was he always had a whole big 5-gallon bucket of bubble gum and candy.
Yeah.
Ooh, that ball's ripped too, and that's going to score.
Chandler
a run,
gets
I
a
think.
single.
Yep.
Donegan being waved around.
Yeah, he scores easy. Every one of these balls has
been line drives. Yeah.
Line drives, not trying to hit home runs,
No.
just line drives through the infield. And I think that will be perhaps it for Marino. Right.
So I don't know if you guys
They're
have seen
go with
the Game Changer application, Eddie. So this keeps track of the game.
Really?
And it has the stats, who's, So, and then you can even get the pitches too. So let's get the pitching line for.
That's
for
way. This is way
That's
above
above
our
our
pay grade.
capabilities.
Oh.
So these have the pitch counts and all that, the strikeouts.
Really?
It's terrific, yeah.
Well, you know these things. You're into podcasts and stuff like that.
We just, hey, if something makes the job easier, I'm all for it.
Now, we have NCM here.
Yes.
Is a similar thing over in Westwood?
Yeah, so I volunteer Westwood Media Center, and they are terrific. They, just like NCM, they are a pillar in our community. Our community, when it comes to the coverage, highlighting what's going on in town. Our athletes, the local government, covering all those meetings, making sure you can keep up to date, hold everyone having transparency when it comes to that. Westwood Community Media is essential, and I'm so appreciative to be able to collaborate with them on games. It's been amazing, and we've had some absolute classics. We had a buzzer beater, Westwood versus Norwood basketball, came down to the last second in Westwood, and the kids stormed the court. So it was so many great memories this year, and so fortunate Westwood Media Center, has been a pillar in the community to really highlight these athletes and create some lifelong memories.
Good. I have a shout out to a guy over in Westwood, the old High Street Market there on 109.
Yes.
A guy named Doug Pollard.
Yes.
He has Pollard's kitchen.
Yes.
there.
Test kitchen. Yeah.
Yeah, he's a great guy, and I had met him, but I saw him in action because that community thing. They did a story on him.
Yep.
And it was a real estate guy actually did it. And it was great. And he came off, and I think he told me, he says it doesn't hurt his business to have that type of thing.
I've had his food at a couple different functions. Tom Lydon had them for Westwood Living event they had, and it was incredible. He had barbecue. Barbecue there is unbelievable, best in town. So check it out if you're in Westwood.
Oh, there
it's a pinch hitter, is it? Cornell, I think it is.
Who is it?
This is actually the guy who lit it off. So Burrell, Max Burrell, number 18.
18.
He was the one who had
I'm looking at
the one-handed line drive.
This is Keady pitching for us.
Yeah, and I heard him say this is only going to face one batter. The other kid wasn't warmed up.
Ready? All right, so Frank Keady, who had started at second base, has come in to throw, and he's going to walk that batter and fill the bases here. And what do you think? One batter?
That's what he told him, but...
Well, looks like he's going to give him a chance against number 5 here.
Martin, the 8 hitter. Let's see what Martin tonight. He is 0 for 1. He grounded out to Larkey his last at bat.
All right, we'll see if Keady can throw a strike here. He's working out of the windup instead of the stretch, so maybe that will help him a little. And there he goes. He throws a strike, and there's a ball that is thrown away, and we'll score.
Gowan's going to score
another run. All right. Got by Begley at third, poor throw, and Westwood jumped out here. Now 7-2, I believe. Is that right? 6-2 out there.
Yeah, 7.
7. I can trust you with the scorebook.
7-2. Yep.
There's a second strike, so Keady's starting to throw some strikes. He's got 2 outs here. No, he really needs to get out of this inning, though. Ooh, nice block by Oliveira there.
Those are tough ones. That wasn't even, the one hopper 2 feet in front of you. That was 5 feet in front of him and got in front of it like Tuukka Rask.
Ooh, he does. He pulls a strike right in there for strike 3. Right.
There's only 2 outs.
Yeah, just 2. It was 2 strikes there. So
2 strikes.
He did not call strike 3.
And the scoreboard had it 2-2.
No, he said he didn't call that.
1-2, and that.
He said he didn't call that a strike.
Okay.
No.
I thought he said strike.
Little panic situation like there, saying stay on second. They didn't know
everybody
what was
confused.
On. Yeah.
All right, it's a full count with 2 outs. Runners were going, and that was fouled off. Now, Morgan, you might have that on your app there.
Yeah,
what the actual.
I see it now, but I don't know what it was. But we'll have to check the footage.
Who's keeping track of this? Who's initiating this app?
Somebody in the crowd? A parent. Oh. Yeah, so the parents do.
Oh, really?
Yeah. And they even have video, so technically you probably find some video. Yeah.
Well, there he's getting tired walking out here, and he's going to bring a pitcher with him. All right, they're going to make a pitching change here. Dylan Begley is going to come out of the game, and
number 17 we don't have on the roster.
I'm going to make a guess that this is young Griffin, Bobby Griffin, up from the JVs. It looks like he may have already played a game. I don't know if they had I think they did have a JV game date today.
I love that.
Did he pitch a no-hitter? Did he
pitched a perfect game. 2 weeks ago against Dedham.
Incredible.
He threw a JV pitcher for the JVs. He's been their number 1 pitcher, I would say, on the JVs. Him and Halkern both pretty good. And he threw a perfect game. And obviously that got some notice around town. And the Coach Igo decided to bring him up and give him a shot, and here he is. He's throwing him right into the fire here in this game. He's built like his father, huh?
He's not quite as large as his father.
But he's getting there. He's going to be a big kid. And, he throws nice and smooth. It looks like got to be a little nervous here. Got to hold him here. We get the bases loaded, 2 down, 7-2 game. We really need an out here. Marino came in, did a great job in the first. And
Yeah, he did.
let's see what. And we'll have to make sure. We'll talk to Walmart or somebody. But I'm gonna guess that this is Griffin Dawn.
Someone's got their headlights on in their car and asking to shut them off.
The real rookie fans that park in this front row over here.
And put their lights on.
Get their windshields smashed.
We call that gamblers. You know, you joke around. He said, "Today I'm gambling. I'm parked right behind the home plate."
That wasn't easy, but looks like we're ready to play here. Number 2 up for
So Chase
Westwood.
Warren up at the plate.
Yeah. All right. Takes a strike right there.
Warren is 0 for 1. Yeah, grounded out to second base.
Yeah. Ooh, he hit that ball, but left fielder's got a beat on it. Made a nice catch.
Oh, great.
Nice play. We're out of the inning.
Good job tracking that down.
Boy, that thing was hit solid. Yeah. All right. Now it needs 5 here. Last of the 4th. So.
Batted around that inning.
Yeah. That was Mikey Grenham that made that play out in left field. I think he's played some first base for Norwood too. Igo's been mixing and matching. You know, you talk about interesting concepts of play. I remember Peter Wall's first year, it was in 1969. I was a young kid at Norwood High, and he had 2 real good pitchers. He had Travis as a junior, but he had a kid named Tom Gugliotta. And in theory, you know, in the Bay State League, as good as anybody. But he was a shortstop, too, and Peter Wall had a thought that he didn't like the idea of splitting up and moving guys around. He wanted to keep that infield. So he had a kid named Jerry McTurnan, who was a terrific player, too. And he made Gugliotta an outfielder so that if he had to make a change, he could keep his infield intact. And it worked for him. I mean, he had I think his first year he won the Bay State League.
There's been some terrific Bay State League athletes. So one I think of who was a all-scholastic hockey player with my dad, but he was more known as a baseball player, was a guy by the name of Walt Horeniak.
Yes.
Out of Natick.
Yeah.
And if he hadn't been in a car accident, he probably would have had an amazing career, but he had an amazing coaching career. And Wade Boggs, Kargi Stremski were guys, first thing they said, you know, to thank their, after 3,000 hits in their Hall of Fame careers, Walt Horeniak.
Yeah, he was a hitting guru.
He was big on the line drive. He's like, enough with the home runs. Hit line drives turned into home runs.
Yeah.
He was also Michael Jordan's hitting coach when Michael Jordan played Double-A for Terry Francona.
That was his one failure. Man that could do a bet with a basketball, just couldn't hit a curveball.
Yeah. So Marino come to the plate.
Yeah. So Marino, who's had an interesting day, started in the outfield, went to the mound, and ended up last inning at second base.
Yeah. So great thing about this Game Changer app, Pat Hunt, 46 pitches so far through 3 innings.
All right. So he's on track to be able to go most of the game. I think it's 115.
Yeah.
We had an instance. We had a good pitcher a couple of years ago. He's over at Northeastern now. I think he's either a redshirt freshman or a sophomore. Cropper, Jack Cropper. And he had struck out 17 guys. There's a bouncer in the hole. It's going to be a tough play. Marino can run. And it goes by the first baseman. So
now, that's interesting. So he's going to stay at first.
No, they call
it.
It's not a dead ball.
Yeah, so now he's going to make it to second. Okay.
So Cropper is pitching against, I think, Millis.
Yeah.
Is a no-hitter and has struck out 17 guys. He can finish his 17th strikeout, 2 outs in the last inning. They got to take him out of the game.
Yeah.
Because he's met the 115 limit.
That is Painful.
Yeah, bring in young Dittmeyer came in to strike out the 18th guy, and that was it.
So they completed it as a team, but he didn't get the one himself.
Yeah.
That's an interesting. You ever seen a game over there in Millis at that baseball field?
I have, yeah.
You can have a check swing home run there.
Yeah.
Get some short fence, but it's a fun place.
Yeah.
A fun place to play.
Kids like it, I bet.
The Bellingham's have been where.
Same thing.
Sandbox,
I don't know if
small.
I know that field. Yeah. Well,
we don't play Bellingham.
Do you guys see many home runs here? I mean, that's a deep.
No, it's a left field mostly.
Yeah.
Over the wall.
Yeah, over the wall. I mean, I see like 390 left center. That's a poke.
This is Rochi up. Yeah, I think there was that big hitting team. My son Pat, I think, was 09 maybe.
Yeah.
They had this kid Jesse Shaughnessy, who was 240 or 50 pound catcher.
Yeah.
He hit him over that net out there and left. They had a kid. Actually, I think the best hitter on that team was his kid Sennett. Corey Sennett. You didn't want to play third base. He turned on balls, and he was big and strong. They hit some long home runs. There's a ball that may get down, and it does. It gets in for a hit. Roach's going to stop at first, and Marino here, so now it threatens to get back in this game.
So here you go. No outs.
Yeah.
Runners on first and third.
Yeah.
Does Coach Igo send that runner on first?
I don't know. I don't think
you're down 5.
Down 5, and I don't think Roach.
Yeah.
Now do you have a different catcher in here, Morgan?
No, that's still Bertone.
The number 2 hitter.
Still number 2. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know if you want to run against him.
So now you see the Wolverines coaching staff giving the signals of what to do.
Oh.
And I'd imagine they're just gonna throw it to the pitcher or throw it to the shortstop.
Did they just yell it out? 6, 7, 2, 4, 5, 3, 2, 1. Was it? Do you know what that means, Jimmy?
You need a code breaker. That's a double play ball potentially. Nope, slowed down.
Take one, and they got him.
And that's good baseball. There is take the out. You give up a run, but take the outs when you can.
So that was Bautista who knocked in another run there. Pushes the runner up to the scoring position. Now it cuts into that lead, 7-3. What we got up here, Jimmy? I can't see that number.
Get Keady.
Huh?
Keady?
Keady, number 9. Yeah. Oh, going timeout. You hit that off the pitcher. That's going to be a base hit. Self-defense.
I got to check in on him. I don't know what that hit, but it got a good piece of him.
Look at his glove, huh? You think? No?
Yeah, I think it.
You get the glove up in time?
Yeah. You can catch his face.
Yeah. So back to runners on first and third. 1 out now.
Mm-hmm. And Lockie's due.
Yeah. He had a sharply hit ball down the left field line for a single. Did it again, but well-positioned McGowan made the play there.
Yeah, he's working on McGowan here.
Yeah.
There it is. Here's the 1, 2, 3. All right.
I'd imagine they're going to play for the outs here.
I would think so, huh? Their infield is in double play depth.
Good pitch.
Right, we got one down man on first and third here. Hits that ball to the shortstop this time. It's going to be a tough play. Lockie's got some speed, the leadoff hitter.
You know what? That's the smart play. He could have thrown that. He was on the run. You could throw that to first. That gets by, and then you're going to have runners on second and third with 1 out. So, smart play.
So now it's made it 7-4. Who's our pitching coach here? Morgan?
So this looks like I think Shane Cronin. So he's
Shane
a
Cronin.
younger guy. I think he pitched
Yeah.
for Westwood about 5-6 years ago. Pitched in college, so good to have him. He's a hockey player too. His dad was a terrific football player at Westwood High School in the mid '80s. So just another player family where parents grew up in Westwood and then raised a family in Westwood.
Well, you know, there was a time that most of the coaches were teachers when we were kids, Jimmy and Norwood.
Yeah.
Now you can't find enough guys
got a
really to
lot of-
want to coach.
Yeah.
I mean, you know, look at the Norwood coaching staff. None of them are teachers. Jimmy Sweeney, you know, is a teacher at high school, but the four that are here tonight, none of them are not only aren't they teachers, I don't think they're in education whatsoever.
Yeah.
Mostly business guys, to be honest with you.
That's a good pitch there.
That's the second time
Inside
Grenham,
strike zone.
Grenham has bailed out. I don't know. We can't see.
I thought that first pitch was better than that.
Yeah. Does he stand right on top of the plate, you think? Ball outside.
It's a nice response from Norwood.
Yeah.
We did see a
Could've-
double steal
could've folded
earlier.
out.
So we did see a double steal earlier to third too.
Yeah.
By the way, you know, risky play, but I mean, this is what you do in these big games. You got to take some risks.
Yeah. Ooh,
That
there's
ball
a
gets
ball
away,
to the
so that's-
backstop. Geez, Morgan, you've been, you got, as one of my great friends said, you got ESPN. Did that come out of your mouth, Jim? No, never. All right.
At this point, 3 balls, 1 strike. I think
3-1.
you just walk it. Go for the.
You think so? Yeah.
The force out. I think they'll throw. He's not going to be an intentional walk, but it's
we
not
get-
going to be something down the middle.
Yeah, third hitter, Sheehan on deck. Ooh, he went up for it. I might get in there, though.
Dropping.
Yeah, it is.
The throw to home.
No, he's safe at home.
Safe. Wow.
Oh, that left fielder made a nice play.
Well, you
got
got
it
to
on the
give
hop.
credit too to that runner on third,
Yeah.
which was it Grenham?
Keady, right?
So Keady looked that play down long enough to know it was going to drop. Because there's no way he scores if he waits.
He's not going to tag
So
for a sacrifice fly.
He played that pretty well. He got down about halfway through and then knew it was going to hit and made it a really difficult play at that plate.
He made a good throw, made it a somewhat close play. I mean, the slide was pretty easily in there.
So back to first and third.
First and third.
Yeah,
That's what
it's been
we've
the theme of the night.
Yeah. But now it's close to 7-5, and they got a man on third here with less than 2 outs, and Sheehan, if he can put it in play, it's like Westwood's going to give him a run.
0 for 2 on the night.
See, Westwood's warming somebody up, Morgan, here behind us.
Also using this bullpen. Looks like Chase Longo going to warm up. This looks like a potential dangerous area in the warm-up zone. Is the ball come flailing over the fence at all?
Don't we put Teddy Dittmeyer over there?
Yeah.
Where is he tonight? Ooh, he's high.
I think the pitch is a little tired at this
Is he
point.
tired?
He's losing
He's up to 64 pitches now.
Yeah. He's overthrowing a little, not falling through, it looks like. But it's a night that you, in theory, you think he could throw 150 pitches. It's cool and there's no sun. But Leary doesn't like the
It's also, you got to think about the inning before. That was a long inning for Westwood at bat.
He's saying that the
pitch
pitcher
is not
doesn't
stopping.
come
Right,
set.
he's not coming set.
Yeah.
No, he's set there.
That's
It's a
in
ground
play.
ball to short.
Could be two.
They turn 2? I don't think they'll turn 2 against.
No,
not
gonna get
against
away.
Sheehan. And they'll move him up that poor throw. We'll move him into scoring position at second, and now it's crept within a run here at 7-6. And Oliveira is a hit away from probably tying this. We got some speed on second with Sheehan.
Keady's gone.
we doing here?
We
He
got
was very
Oliveira.
demonstrative on these timeouts.
Timeouts, yeah. Ooh, what did that hit?
I'm going to say it's play, in play.
I thought it hit his
So he's
knuckle.
going to tag him, and he's out.
I thought
So
it
you
hit
gotta
his
say that?
knuckle.
So I think the umpire is going to talk this one through,
He
which
is.
I like to see.
I'd say it's going to be a strike, but the ball hit his knuckle, not the bat. That's what I think.
He's out.
Oh,
Okay.
he says he's out. Weird play.
We don't have a replay tonight. That's a little.
Yeah.
I mean, if you see him say "ow" or in pain after that, I mean it's obvious. It's an obvious play that if it was
wasn't
contact.
it?
But
Yeah, I thought so.
Two from I saw that it was 1 and 2. So
Right. Right. Yeah. The amazing thing is the other guy didn't catch on to that either.
he wouldn't ask for help.
Right, no.
There you go.
How did everything go yesterday?
Excellent, bud. Yeah.
Did you see? I heard through the grapevine that Mike Sheehan won the thing with the dogs leading him on. He says he never saw him.
Yeah,
The loudest voice.
I didn't see him. He wasn't even there.
Yeah, he was.
Was he?
Yeah, he did the raffle.
He must have came late. I left early. I did the Irish goodbye.
All right, we were talking to Sean Danaher, the GM and race coordinator, yesterday for the thing. Is this Griffin pitching here?
What's up?
Your pitcher. Is that Griffin?
Yeah, Bobby Griffin.
Bobby Griffin. Thank you. Yeah. All right.
So
Bobby
now
Griffin sounds like a great St. Catherine's name. It's when I hear a lot of the stories from my dad in St. Catherine's days, a lot of.
Well, he would know. Your dad would know this kid's grandfather.
I bet, yeah.
Bobby Griffin. They called him Scuffy. He grew up. He was Bunny Griffin's son. From up on the Tree Streets, and he was the principal at the Callahan School for about 25 years, and coached Little League Baseball for many years, I think, too.
Yeah.
A great guy. Still see him around a lot. And
now, do you guys remember? So Don Wheeler becomes the head coach for hockey in basically, I think it was like '62, early '60s. But before him was guy Jack Monbouquet.
He was the principal at the school.
So he was a hockey coach for a bunch of years, and I heard did a terrific job in the administration as well. But
so your
his
dad
Red
played for him too?
Yes, so he was my dad's high school coach.
Was Jack O'Neill assistant hockey coach?
I believe so, yeah.
Well, at Wheeler. I don't know if he goes back to Monbouquet. Monbouquet was older.
Wheeler had some great ones. He had Kenny Arvidsson as an assistant. He had Jimmy Gormley.
Yeah, I see Jimmy's still around.
Yeah. So top of the order for Westwood, Brendan Senjic up at the plate.
Well, the momentum here has swung to Norwood, I'd say.
It's been a...
No, there's a high pop, easy play at third for Keady. He puts it away. We got a different infield here. Looks like Galvin at second. I think it's still Sheehan at first, and Keady's over at third. Lockie stays at short, and Galvin in at second base here. If we get close here, I wouldn't doubt that Igo will use Lockie in the last inning, perhaps.
Is he the closer, or is
somewhat. I mean, he's not overpowering,
he's
but
probably got some good off-speed pitches.
Yeah, and he throws strikes. That's the thing. He has a nice high bounce at the Keady.
Impressive throw. That's not an easy throw in the...
Yeah, he's backing up, and... I remember I played with a kid that on a ball like that, he would catch the ball, he would look at the ball, and then he would throw the ball.
Check the scuff marks.
He had that type of an arm.
Yeah.
Gary Horsman. Yeah. The thing would go, the pitcher would look because it would whiz right by his head. I mean, Keady looks like he don't quite have that type of arm, but he got rid of it quickly and made the play. So. Griffin's got 2 quick outs here in the top of the fifth.
So the momentum shift with Norwood getting a big answer.
Yeah.
They got essentially 4 runs. And
trying to jack that one into the
both
left
wants to
field
get within
screen.
one.
Yeah.
And now they get the first 2 quick outs. Definitely.
Yeah, they want to get back in here and hit.
Yeah.
Ooh, that
That's
thing
a
was
well-hit
tagged.
ball to deep center.
Ooh, that thing hit.
That's going to roll to the fence.
He's going to roll to the
He's going to get to
380 mark. He's going to get
He's
3
turning
here.
get to third. He's going to get there.
Stand up triple. That thing was hit.
Danny Leahy, talked about him
Leahy,
earlier.
yeah.
Kid, when he gets the bat on the ball, he hits it a long way.
Boy, he did. That's.
So, my question to you guys is, with him at third base, you got 2 outs. Is that going to impact the pitching? Are you going to just throw fastballs, or do you throw a ball, a curveball where potentially it might hit the dirt?
Exactly.
Yeah. So how does that impact the pitching situation here with
Yeah. Oh, I
Donegan?
agree.
Donegan's a fastball hitter too.
Yeah.
So.
Well, you got to hope that your senior captain and catcher, Oliveira, can block those balls. And he's done a pretty good job today.
Yeah.
But there's a couple, like you said, Morgan, when they're only 55 feet, there's very little chance of.
Yeah.
Ooh, look at that!
One's gonna go to the
that
backstop.
thing.
So
that thing was so high and
There he is,
outside.
ESPN again.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, it's Coach Whalen taught me to be able to, foresee potential plays, and
That's true.
I can tell you that last hit, though, the triple would have been a homer in probably every.
My
every
goodness,
park
that was a
in the
laser.
state.
Yeah.
Well, Walpole's got a no fence there.
Yeah.
That
would
have been a little league home run.
Yeah. Griffin's had a little problem with his curveball here, controlling it.
Guys, does it get any better? TVL baseball, late season game, under the lights, 2-run game.
That's a ground up.
That's going to get
In
through
the hole. Base hit.
He's going to work for second.
He's going to sneak in.
He gets there.
Ooh, caught him napping a little out there in the outfield. And,
that's Coach Whalen is going to love that.
Yeah.
He has no problem if you take a risk and you come out on top.
Yeah.
If you do and you don't, you're going to get a conversation.
Yeah. Well, 2 outs.
Yeah.
If you're not going to, steal second base.
Could be consequential though. If you get a single here, that's a run.
That's right. On the other hand, Coach Igo's not going to be thrilled that a routine single to left field turns into a double, and that wasn't Jaron Duran exactly running the bases. That's one thing if you get a guy like him, but that's
these seniors. That's what makes them seniors is they understand the body language of when they can take that risk. There's no better players at doing that than catchers.
Ooh.
Check in on
throw.
second. He's going to get to third. It's into center field.
Oh, my God. Gifted on that run. Yeah. I think he had the right idea because he had him off the bag. He might have actually. I don't think he was going to go back to second. He was going to have to go to third.
He was going to third, yeah. I wonder if that was a
delayed type steal.
Yeah.
Or if that was the runners doing, or if Coach Whalen had called that.
Yeah. All right, 9-6 here. Norwood hasn't played too many of these type of games. Usually they're 3-2 and sky high.
That is hot.
Tough to see, but it's easy.
And it's going to fall in.
They didn't. Nobody knew where it was.
So now they're throwing the ball.
Oh, Sheehan backs up. Thank
God.
God.
Very tough to see.
Yeah. Yeah. Nobody picked that up. Tough time of the night here, but need a little more communication, I guess, on that type of ball.
So that's going to be a hit for Teddy McGowan, his first of the day.
Yeah.
Luke Chandler.
Ooh, Eddie, you would have had to catch that one.
I was ducking.
Yeah.
Well, I got a whole contingent goes after those foul balls.
As George Yusevich would say, he's got a host of
really?
host of runners.
Right. Yeah.
George, another funeral home worker.
Is he really?
Yeah, it crossed
We were
down the
talking
street.
about one earlier today. We're talking about Paul Angelo, and I was talking about his hockey line. Bob Donahue, Paul Angelo, and Billy Crowley.
Yeah.
Of Galulis.
Yeah. Well, geez, Crowley was a great guy.
Great
He is
guy.
a great guy. He's
Yeah.
down in.
Is he down the Cape?
He's down in Osterville, I think.
Yeah.
That's where he lives. And,
So here's a funny story. So I'm calling the Westwood game versus King Philip. Who's pitching for King Philip? A Hassenfuss.
Really?
Yes. And it's the
Yeah.
nephew of, or no, it's the grandson.
Well, there's a ground
Billy.
ball right at Lockie. Makes the throw. Yeah, Billy was a good baseball player.
Was he? Yeah.
And hockey, like you said. He
Yeah.
played for Wheeler. Yeah, Billy could throw pretty hard.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We're talking about Longboat Key. Big fan of Longboat Key, Florida, and you know, his met two of his sons there. Great people.
Yeah. Is this the same number 6?
Same pitcher, yeah.
Same pitcher.
He's up to. I'll get the.
See if he can settle down. He had a tough inning last inning. Now
he's up to 66 pitches.
Yeah, he's got a 3-run lead now. So looks like.
Where's the bathrooms? Right over the corner?
Yeah.
I'll be right back.
The wind chill appears to be about 45 degrees at this point.
You're notorious for just bringing the worst weather with you. Now, I don't mind in football when we do games because we're in the booth, but
Norwood kind of threw the ball around in that.
yeah, that was not
that inning.
Yeah, that was not their finest defensive performance.
Yeah, they clawed back last inning. They'll probably. We haven't heard the last of them.
I don't think so. We'll see. We got Begley, so 5, 6, 7 here hitting for Norwood. Dylan Begley. I see this kid because of his build and everything. He's a junior. I see him being like last year. We had a guy, Jerry Fry. Remember Jerry Fry? He just everything settled down in his senior year. He was terrific. He hit the ball better than he ever had. He threw. He was really threw well. And him and Badger were great last year on the mounds. And I think Begley's going to do the same type of thing. Hopefully he'll have a good summer wherever he plays. I don't know if he's playing Legion ball or maybe for an AAU team. I guess that was a strike. He didn't put his arm up the ump, but I think we could hear him say strike 2.
I thought he said, but there's no indication on the
We'll see. I think that runs the
count full. Yeah.
Is it 3-1 or 3-2?
Well, he's saying count was full.
I think so. Yeah. Well, 4. That was 4 balls. I thought there was 2 strikes, but. And Marino is going to hit here. He's been all over the place on defense, but he's remained the 6th hitter here. And there's a strike. We heard that. That was
Still got some
emphatic.
velocity going.
Yeah. Well, like I said, this is a perfect night for a pitcher to throw as many pitches as he wants. There's a ball that hit, easy play for the center fielder. Now, thinking of center fielders over the years, your son, of course, one of the best that we've ever seen out there, has he retired from baseball?
Yeah,
Yeah?
he had another knee surgery over the off season, and that's it. He had another child, so.
He has had the other child. Your grandfather again?
Yeah.
Yeah, what do you have?
He has a boy and a girl. We have a boy and 2 girls.
2 girls
currently.
now.
Yeah.
Jake O'Rourke and your daughter have 1, right? Is that right?
And she teaches over in Westwood at the Martha Jones School.
Imagine that. There's another connection. You didn't know that, Morgan, did you?
That was my school growing up, Martha Jones.
That's where my daughter teaches now.
Yeah? What's her name?
Shannon O'Rourke.
O'Rourke?
Nice Italian name.
Yeah.
What grade?
She's in the special ed department,
Yeah.
so she has different age groups.
Got some good friends over there. My good friend Pat Foley. We both have bulldogs in the neighborhood. He's been the longtime phys ed teacher over there. I got 2. I got a niece and a nephew there right now too. So I'll have to ask him.
All right, Rochi takes a 3-0 pitch right down the middle.
She married to the O'Rourkes of Norwood.
Yeah, Jake O'Rourke.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Jake played ball and hockey.
Remember Ryan O'Rourke was a hockey player?
Yeah, it was a different family.
Different family, yeah.
Yeah, Ryan was part of the Butchie O'Rourke's family.
Yeah.
There's a tap of the pitcher.
Ooh.
He's going to throw to second, and it makes a heady play, take the lead guy.
Yeah.
So, do you think your son's going to miss playing for the Braintree White Sox?
I'm sure he will.
Yeah. Do you think he could be called back if they
I
need
don't
somebody?
think so.
No, you sure?
No.
I remember
Family commitments, I don't think he's going to be doing that.
That was good ball. I'll tell you, that's good ball.
Yeah, the Cranberry League's a good league.
Yeah, especially that White Sox team.
And their announcers get paid.
Yeah, say that again so Jack heard that.
$75 a game that announcer gets from
Norwood guy,
Braintree
too.
Cable.
That's a nice gig.
Yeah.
And what's his name?
Mike
Wassel.
Mike
Wassel, and Norwood, Stanley Wassel's grandson.
Yeah. His father's. He played with his father in Babe Ruth baseball.
Yeah.
So
just missed there.
So when Norwood plays Walpole, any rivalry still kicking around when those 2 teams play?
Well, that's interesting.
More so with the parents.
Yeah, maybe. I don't know. You know. Ooh, is that over our head? I hope so. I believe this is Galvin in his first plate appearance here. Came in at second base.
Yes,
here.
James Galvin.
Huh?
James Galvin, yep.
Ooh, we took another pitch outside. All right, two outs here in the bottom of the 5th. Ooh,
that gets by
ball
Bertone.
Gets by. I guess it was ball 3, and the ball gets by. Pushes Rochi up to second base. All right, full count with Rochi in scoring position.
Yeah. He'll be running on this pitch.
Ooh, right there. Good pitch. All right. Good 3-2 pitch there that retires Galvin and the Mustangs.
And that was for Hunt. That was his 86th pitch.
Yeah. All right, we got a new pitcher here for Norwood. Looks like Caden Sheehan, who has been down at first base for us, is going to take the hill here.
So we got Coach Kevin Caranto's got the hockey jacket on. He's assistant coach of the Wolverine hockey team. We got matching jackets, so I love it.
I was going to say, it's getting colder.
Yeah, it is definitely reached cold levels.
Yeah.
He's done a terrific job coaching. He coaches baseball and hockey in Westwood. He's also coaching his kids' teams too. He's
pretty busy.
Very busy guy. Yeah. So Burl, he kind of started things off the Wolverines in that when Westwood went down, he had that one-handed swing that went into the gap.
Yeah. Get that
to second base. And I was saying, if he gets his bat going, it's going to be a very good batting, 1 through 9 lineup for the Wolverines.
Yeah.
So the questions for the Wolverines, I think, have been the outfield. Is you have mostly returners in the infield. The outfield's somewhat newer. You got young guys, who've been thrown into the mix.
Yeah.
But if you get some guys who can get the bat going in the outfield, that is going to be the key to, I think, the Wolverines in a deep playoff run.
Well, that's what you do. You need somebody a couple of guys to get hot in the tournament, with the bat.
Yeah.
I remember the year that Jimmy probably remember. I think it was 2014. Sean Mellon was our outstanding pitcher, and everybody talked about Mellon. But the other thing I remember about that was, I think it was Galvin was a junior, and their catcher was this kid Kevin Hines, and
yeah, he had a great playoff.
He had an unbelievable playoffs. Home runs. He's a
Triples,
big, strong kid.
Everything he touched went to
they rode that offensively. They rode Mellon, and who else? They have Ryan. The other kid was Ryan. They had another good.
They had the other. The other Galvin too.
Right.
Now,
both Paul Galvin and his brother.
Now, if he goes to Lewis's, does he have to pay for a beer?
Who's that? Mellon?
Yeah. The guy
Hines?
Yeah.
You're right.
If you had to say, outside of Hebner, people that have gone into Lewis's, who wouldn't pay for a beer in the town of Norwood?
Mikey Martin wouldn't have to.
King.
Eddie King, who's
Clifford.
Still around, Clifford,
yeah.
And Peter Brown.
Peter Brown.
Right. And
All-American.
And the person that nobody remembers, or doesn't get enough credit, is Billy Peary. In 2 years, lost one game in his high school career as the goalie on that team. One game in 2 years in the Bay State League, and then against the Madignons and Arlingtons. Yeah, he wouldn't have to either.
He was one of my playground instructors, Billy Peary.
Billy Peary.
Yeah.
So, did you guys? My dad talks about the pool in Norwood during the summer. You used to go down to.
Sure. There's two of them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He
Hawes.
said that was the thing to do. You go down to the pool. You spend the day at the pool.
Yeah. Hawes and Father Max. Yeah.
Each school had a playground too, like a counselor.
All right. Here's a
Taught
question.
me how to play cards.
Yeah. There's a good pitch. What was the name of this field right here during the summer? It was not the Bulge.
Elliott Field?
Elliott, that is amazing that you would know that. Elliott Park, yes. There's a foul.
I grew up in South Norwood. Well, 5 years old. I left.
Yeah.
I got out.
Well, you get out.
Yeah, I get out.
They threw you out.
So here's
they asked you to leave.
Here's a story I'll have to verify about.
Right.
But right by the OCC, kind of across where that parking lot is, I heard there was like a little holding station.
Yeah, it's a jail. It was a jail.
It was a jail.
Yeah.
And I understand. That's a ball.
Oh, nice play.
Nice play. Absolutely.
Caden Sheehan, terrific.
I understand Norwood Police put someone in there. Somehow the guy gets out and he gets last call at Lewis's before he put himself back in.
Have we mentioned this guy's name today?
I don't know, but
was the connection perhaps that Friar Folan? It was his uncle who was the police chief. that the guy escaped from.
So it's a true story.
It is.
That is.
Yeah.
I mean, the stories I've heard throughout the years. These are cult classics, These are
well, I don't know
National Lampoons.
Right. Do you know, Morgan? Do you know what this guy did previous to getting a law degree?
No.
Go ahead, Jimmy.
Yeah, I was on the police department.
There we go. Okay.
22 years.
In 22 years, how many escaped from you?
Not many.
Well,
So you must have had my Uncle Bob. Brownie used to get him going anytime he walked into Lewis's. They go, "There's the ambulance chaser."
No, Bobby was a good attorney.
He was the best.
All right, 2 outs here. Who's number? Is this the catcher?
9. This is Senjik, who's the leadoff hitter, shortstop.
Next, we got the catcher on deck.
Senjik 2 for 4 on the day.
And he's got a man on third.
Let's see what else. Senjik 2 for 4. He's got 2 runs, an RBI.
Well, it's funny. Sometimes if we do a game, we don't know the other team. But you see a kid, with Westwood, it's been up and down the lineup. They've
Yeah.
gotten, production, it seems like.
Yeah.
You know, they have strung some hits together. Now, this will be interesting. They got a 3-run lead.
You got catcher coming out to hit.
So, you got a good hitter, obviously, but you got men on first and third.
Yeah.
He might try the double steal.
This might be. They got an inexperienced. Keady doesn't pitch a lot for Norwood.
Yeah.
So they got an inexperienced guy on the mound.
So you get a good jump.
Yes, I would think so. Yeah.
At this point, I think Bertone's a good hitter. I think you go with his bat.
Give him at least a few pitches.
Question for you guys: How in a given season, how many games are at night versus day games?
May. So April you play, 4:00 games.
Yeah.
Once it turns to May, you hit them right in the back.
Middle of the back too.
Hey, that will load the bases. Yeah. So we got generally all the games are 7:00 games in May. So that's about half the season.
Yeah.
And if we play 10 home games, and you get about 5 games. I think last week Ashland.
Yeah.
We've had Dedham, I think, the first week. Usually the biggest game in the year, I always think, is when we can play Walpole. But every other year we got to play on the road.
Yeah.
So we got an afternoon game up at Eldrick.
It's been interesting because last year their field had some issues, so they were playing road games but being the home team. So
really?
Westwood played them at Westwood, but Walpole batted in the bottom of the innings. Yeah, it was interesting. They had a heck of a year making it to the state championship. I think they fell to Plymouth South of Plymouth North. But
that ball's hit good.
Yes.
But he's got it. He's got it in range. Makes the catch. So leave the bases loaded and keeps Norwood within striking distance at 9-6, entering the bottom of the 6th.
So you could tell the difference between an inning ago when we saw that pop up and you couldn't really locate it. Now you can locate the ball.
Yes.
It was definitely
absolutely
what,
right.
Say, Twilight Zone, Fenway.
Yeah. Now, who was that but Jaden Marino out there? We've seen him all over the place. Second base, third base, center field to make that catch.
Yeah, that was.
And, of course, he threw 2 or 3 innings for Norwood. So.
And we pitcher for...
Yeah, so Chase Longo coming in to pitch for the Wolverines, a lefty.
Yeah.
Senior for Westwood. It's going to be my first look at him. I've seen him warm up a few times, but I've heard he's been a good addition for the relievers for the Wolverines.
Yeah, a senior, you said.
Senior, yeah. Basketball player, had some big baskets in the Westwood Norwood game, some big threes.
Well, you talk about, I'm not a basketball aficionado in any way, but I know that you've had a connection of girls basketball with Norwood over there, right? Yeah. Who you know because your father and your uncle were very good friends with Bobby Clifford.
Clifford's.
Yeah, and
Coach Whalen had Bobby Clifford as a teacher. He was a teacher many years, and who I talked to? I talked to Bill Riley, who's a Norwood guy, a Norwood teacher for many years.
Sure.
And he, basically would see Bobby all the time. Yeah. I think at one point they were a part of the same department. They kind of would. They had, I think, guidance and I don't know if Bobby Clifford was history.
They were social studies teachers.
But they kind of merged them at one point with just the same leadership. But there's so many times. Michelle Hebner, she's at Westwood High School. Rich's niece, Norwood grad.
Yeah, we see Catherine Clifford every once in a while around. She still works down at the chat room in Falmouth there, during the summers.
She's a popular person during the Falmouth Road Race. She's
got
the hose out ready.
I think my daughter is running. Speaking of that, are you running this year? No, but who is?
Huh? My son's running.
Your son's running.
I ran it a few years back.
Typically, people run for a cause. Is
yeah,
for
he's running with for the Matt Brown Foundation.
Terrific! Yeah.
Matt was his teammate when he got there.
Ooh, that ball's hit on the dot there.
There's a well-hit ball there.
Ooh, number 9. That Keady, yeah.
That is Keady.
Yeah, batting out of the bottom of the order. He hit
That's
that
a big
ball.
hit there.
Yeah. All right, so Frankie Keady leads it off, and that brings us to the top with Lockie.
Lockie's hit the ball sharp all night.
Yeah. Yeah, your third baseman, like you said, is on guard here.
Yeah,
he seems to want to test him.
Good pitch there by
Yeah.
Longo.
Takes a ball there. I could see Lockie next year really getting bigger.
Yeah.
If you see his father,
He hasn't hit the growth spurt yet.
No. I don't, Morgan, I don't know if you know, but his father is the defensive coordinator at Harvard.
Right? Yeah.
And he's a big guy. He was a linebacker, I guess, at Harvard.
Yeah.
And you could see that one of the, they got 6 kids. I don't know how many boys, but they got some others coming. And they'll all be athletes, I'm sure. But
father Norwood high grad?
No, not from around this area.
It's not Paul Hartnett then, huh?
No. Ooh, he's underneath that though.
Yeah.
Playing him shallow too.
No, his local ties are his mother.
Yeah.
His mother was a Walpole field hockey star who was an All-American supposedly at Harvard. If people tell me the truth, then I believe that. And she came from a very, I forget her maiden name, but we're lucky to have potentially 6 Lockies coming along and all good. I'm sure they're all going to be good athletes.
Some connections between Harvard and Norwood. Trish Brown,
Hartnett,
basketball player.
Larry Brown.
Yeah, I heard. Was it baseball player?
Yeah.
He was captain of baseball and football at Harvard.
There's a throw that gets away.
You don't see that anymore.
No.
Good backup though. Keep the
right
runners
fielder.
at third. That's something underrated that Coach Whalen teaches there. So the right fielder there, I believe, was Burrow.
Yeah.
He anticipated the throw. He got over to that. I mean, that could have been a scored run. Right
Absolutely. There. And you the word there, you're perfect. Anticipated.
Yeah.
If you wait until after the ball's already gone by, you're too slow.
Yeah.
He started, anticipated, seeing that, it could have been an easy play, but if the ball gets away, I got to get over there, and he was. Essentially he was sitting there waiting.
As the right fielder, you need to move your feet on any time a ball is in the infield.
Yeah. All right, Caden Sheehan got 2 runners here in scoring position. Make this a close game. Ooh, got a good rep.
So I had Kathy Delaney-Smith on to the podcast. 40-year coach, girls basketball at Harvard, winningest Ivy League coach in Ivy League sports history.
Yeah.
And something special about these Ivy League coaches, they are so competitive. They are so smart, and they, there's.
Yeah. Now, did Trisha Brown play for her?
She played and coached.
With her.
And then Trish obviously made the move over to Stonehill, and she's coached so many Westwood players over there.
Yeah.
Bill Riley has given, handed off some great Westwood players over there. Andrea Barr, Danielle Fitzpatrick.
Ooh,
That's
pop up.
Stay and play.
Pop up. It looks there's a play there.
Yes.
The first baseman makes a nice
Donegan.
play. Yeah.
Donegan will.
Is that the pitcher from before? No.
No, that's
another.
He was the safety for the football team.
Right.
He's going to be heading to Tuscaloosa, Alabama for college.
Yeah. To play.
Just to.
No.
I told him, I said, you're talented. You could play college football if you wanted, especially at D3, no brainer.
Right.
Others, I think you could certainly get a look, but he enjoyed his career and wants to focus on the academics.
Couldn't play at Save Regina though, right?
Oh, he could absolutely play. I'd call that coach tomorrow and say you'll get yourself a heck of a player and a winner.
I need a big hit here from Oliveira with 2 outs and men on second and third.
So we just had on the podcast a kid by the name of Joe Vinci.
Oh, sure.
True
He's
freshman long snapper.
Notre Dame, right? Yeah.
And
Chisholm.
He's talking about Chisholm.
He taught him everything he knew, he told me.
Chisholm was an impactful coach for him, as well as the pitching coach here for the Wolverines. Yeah. He was the 7th grade coach for him.
Was he?
Didn't start playing football till 7th grade.
Yeah. Now his father is a police officer.
He is.
Isn't he?
He's the chief of police for Dover.
In Dover.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't
Was
know.
Westwood for a bit.
Yeah.
I know he was up for it.
He played football
He was a
at Dartmouth.
sergeant in Westwood,
Dartmouth?
I think.
Yes.
Yeah. Ooh,
Oh,
good pitch there.
Yeah, good pitch.
All right, 1-2 count here.
So no sleeves for Longo. That's intimidating right
Yeah.
there. You know, that's unaffected.
Yeah. Ooh, he just stays alive there. When I was playing back in the early 70s, we had a pitcher named Mark Linehan who went to Harvard. He actually was the captain in '76 there. But when he was young, he went to the College World Series.
Is that Eddie?
Is this the guy you're talking about right here?
Many years ago.
Stud.
And Linehan was, I don't know if he was a freshman or sophomore, but they had a good pitcher named Milt Holt.
Yeah.
And he was a quarterback like Larry Brown, quarterback and a pitcher. And they faced USC, who I think Freddie Lynn batted sixth on that team. They had 5 other guys who were major leaguers in front of them.
That reminds me of
Fred
Kinsman, my father, played in the 1965 Frozen Four, and one of the teams besides BC and Brown was Minnesota Tech.
Yeah.
One of the goalies at split time, Tony Esposito.
Couldn't win it outright, huh?
Well.
Yeah. All right, 2-2 and 2 outs here. Ooh.
Looks like he dotted the corner, but
was that close,
give him
huh?
a call.
All right.
Pitcher wanted that call.
Yeah, and everybody, Whalen and his gang over there, thought that he had good pitch there. All right, full count here. Ooh, he rips that.
Ball.
I was getting out of the way.
Yeah, and you were too.
It's about that time, coldness-wise, where these balls coming down the line, he's going to let them go.
Yeah, right. Yeah, I don't know.
We're on our own.
Right,
You know,
a nice sunny night, Bomber might have grabbed that thing. But all right, they all get a big lead. Yeah. Ooh, he hit that good.
Left field.
Nice
Great
grab.
catch.
Nice grab.
Yep.
Chase Warren.
Chase Warren made
Playing
a
him
nice
on the
play
shallow
there.
side.
Confident play to make.
Oliveira couldn't hit that ball much better. Right on the nose for a third out.
That was actually, it looks like Brady Dumais. So Brady Dumais.
Was it? You had a new guy in there?
New guy in there, Brady Dumais.
He made a nice play, and he went back on that. I think he felt he had it in his sights all the way.
Brady Dumais, fantastic play. I mean, first of all, it's a difficult catch. Second of all, to do that with 2 outs, runners on like that, very impressive.
All right. Jack Tolman. What's her name?
Sammi Wood.
That should be easy. All right. I'll remember because I'm. All right, we head to the top of the 7th here, and one thing we'd like to thank NCM for being here, because we know it's a busy night tonight. We were amazed that we got the number one crew here tonight, because most of the time they send that to the town meeting. Are you a town meeting member anymore?
Me, no.
You were though, weren't you?
Many years I was.
Oh, I remember you. Yes.
Yeah.
Well, anyway, we got the A crew tonight here. Sammi Wood is running the show here, and got her intern Jack Tolman helping out. So we want to thank Sammi and
terrific
Jack. Yeah, it's great, and glad to have you, Morgan. Jack actually likes you. I don't think he likes Jimmy and I. He finds the worst nights, the coldest nights. And put it this way, you won't be back.
Everyone knows Jack controls the weather.
Right. You won't be back after a night like this, because you'll have pneumonia.
If Jack can get wires under the football field for the press box, he can control the weather.
That's true. Yeah.
But speaking of Norwood baseball, George Tolman, what a heck of a baseball player he was.
Both the boys, Declan and George, are both good players here, and watched them for the high school and for the Legion. It's a big hopper. Yeah, Lockie's got a nice bounce, but he is he not?
That was a great play, great throw.
First baseman came up with it, but he beat it out.
That was Donahue.
Yeah,
big guy getting down first baseline quickly.
Mikey Grenham made a nice scoop there. But
got a picture. This is head coach Brian Whalen in his Norwood baseball days.
A Mustang too. Yeah.
Yep. Nice pinstripes. The pinstripes, was that a kind of the part of the uniform for
I think
years?
it was. Yeah. Well, put it this way: our uniforms were so old that they were flannel.
Well, not exactly what you want to wear on a hot day.
No.
Yeah.
No. Well, the worst one. High school was one thing, but Frank Wall coached the Legion team when I was playing, and we also had flannel there. It'd be 90 degrees, and you'd be playing he hit the runner with that Sheehan hit him, and he's going to get to third. Oh, he'll get to he'll take the turn at third. Ball in.
So, funny thing, you mentioned Frank Wall, and he's a pivotal person in the life of Jackie McMullen. So Jackie McMullen was an athlete at Westwood High School, and she was complaining to her dad that, we're not getting the girls aren't getting coverage. We're not getting any coverage. So the dad said, well, why don't you reach out to the newspaper and, do something? So she does. She reached out to Frank Wall, and Sales says, I would love to, but I just don't have the people. I don't have enough people to do that. So if you want to write the articles, I'll print them. Yeah. And he said, if they stink, I won't, but if I'll give them a shot.
Ooh, that's good.
So she hand wrote them. She didn't have a typewriter. She would hand write them. She'd drop them off at the principal's office or, the secretary's office. Sales would show up at Westwood High School, pick them up, and he'd print them. Yeah. So she got her first start through Sales Wall, and the rest is history.
You remember what was the name of the paper you wrote for?
The Norwood Messenger.
Messenger, that's right. And what was his column?
Was it Slants?
Yeah, Sports Slants.
There was a guy.
My buddy was his ghostwriter later on in life.
Ooh, it reaches out. Base hit there.
That's a big hit by Teddy McGowan.
With the infield in, he was able to slap it. Yeah, slap it.
So the Sales Wall of Westwood was a guy named Charlie Clement.
Sure, I remember them a little bit.
Big figure in the 70s, and his brother was a guy by the name of Don Earl.
Yeah.
Called some Bruins games.
Yeah,
sure.
He didn't go by his last name Clement.
Yeah, weren't they Dedham people?
Yes, yes.
Yeah.
Yes, exactly. And Charlie's wife Betty was the school nurse for many, many years. She, recently, fortunately, passed away last couple months. But great family in town, and just special people who put put time towards the community and sports and highlighting these special student athletes.
Yeah, Don Earl was a great announcer in the 60s, 70s.
He called, Bobby Orr.
Right, he would have had Orr, right?
And then he went on to, I believe, the Flyers. And they had Bill Clement on the team, so it was, you get some fun jerseys.
Ooh, nice curveball by Caden Sheehan. He's got a man on second. They've added a run, Westwood, and lead 10-6. Nobody out with that man on second. Oh, he's going to throw that curve again. He's going to block it. Have to make the throw down to first for the out.
The runner advances.
He does, but now we're taken out. I think Caden Sheehan's looking to get out of this without any more damage. I go bring the infield in here.
Brady Dumais coming to the plate. He was the one who made that nice play in left field. He replaced Chase Warren.
Right.
I think he ended up coming in the game as a pinch runner initially. Go for a safety squeeze.
Safety squeeze, but the ball's in the dirt, and so he is able to score.
That's the Whalen small ball right there.
Right.
He's not afraid to do the safety squeeze.
Yeah.
That's that's peak Brian Whalen. That's no one's expecting that then, but it's still an important one. That gets you gives you a 5-run lead.
Yeah,
it's insurance run. The way the night's been going with just the hits and the runs, it's a big run. So
Sheehan works with nobody on base. down 5 runs here. He's got to put out the fire here. And I don't know how much Keady has thrown this year. I would suspect not that much. Ooh. A curveball that Oliveira
dropped off so quickly.
Right,
Oliveira
was
strike
full.
zone and then in the dirt.
Yeah. Angels had a long night back there. Ooh, that's a good curveball. That seems to be his best pitch.
Yeah.
Doesn't throw that high.
Hard break.
Yeah, he's got a nice curveball. Oh, here we go again. Got
He's fixated on these headlights.
Headlights.
It's like if you're playing golf and the guy you're playing with says, "Can you please move to the right? You're in my line of vision."
Are you a golfer, Morgan?
I am, yes.
I am not, but
No?
this guy here is one of the best.
There you go.
No.
What's your go-to spot?
No, I play at Royal Crest once a week.
Yeah.
It's in Walpole.
Yeah.
What did you shoot today? A 31?
No, I was at
32?
42.
That's solid. That's a solid round. Are you a walker or do you hit the cart?
No, we get a cart.
Yeah. I'm saying you're my kind of guy right there.
What?
You know, don't waste any time at the walk-in.
They won't even let. They don't. Well, they do let residents walk up there.
Yeah.
Not us. We have to get a cart.
I'm getting a cart. I'm gonna enjoy my golf. You know, I don't want to hit a ball with an elevated heart rate. You know, I like to keep it at 60.
Oh, another ball that gets away.
Yeah,
Did it hit him?
I think it got him on the bill of the hat.
I think it hit, yeah, because the ball's dead, I guess. Yeah. All right. Nobody warming up, so this is Caden's game. See if he can get out of this. So Morgan, where do you play generally?
Jack Endy coming in. My father was one of the initial members at TPC Boston, so I played there a bunch growing up.
Oh, all
You
right.
know who was a member there? Norwood guy, Bruce Gregory.
Sure, the old wrestling coach.
Yeah, Bruce Gregory. Connors was a guy. Jack Connors' son, Brian Connors. He was one of the first membership.
Connors, the ad agency guy.
Connors he was a lawyer.
He was a judge, right?
Yes, judge. Yeah.
Jack
exactly.
is, he's still around.
Yeah.
I see him
I think
in
they moved to
Walpole.
Walpole at one point.
Yeah, he lives up there.
He was honoree of the Friends of St. Patrick's one year.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Right.
Anything better than that, guys? The Friends of St. Nick's and the Friends of St. Patrick's.
Eddie was an honoree at Friends of St. Nick.
That's one of the. So Jack Tolman as well.
I got his. I still got his T-shirt at home.
What's that?
Has your likeness on it from the Friends of St. Nick.
Now tell me that's fouled off as
well.
Foul.
It should be a foul.
No, he didn't
So
call
tell
it.
me.
No, the base umpire did though.
So tell me about what was the day like? Did you guys do a little concannons after, or was that was it closed by then?
Oh, it's in Norwood?
Yeah.
No drinking.
No.
No.
We went to church out. St.
Right.
Catherine's,
Exactly.
Yeah.
There was
some holy water.
Stations of the Cross.
Yes.
Yeah. That is one thing about all those type of things. St.
It's a rolling
Patrick, St.
rally.
Nick,
It's a rolling rally.
It brings out some of the best
Yeah.
in that
when
regard.
you get the karaoke going at like 11,
Yeah.
11:30, that's when you know you're having a good night. Runner going.
Ooh, there's another foul. You know,
Big battle going on.
the only thing worse about this is, remember the year that you jinxed us? We were like here, and it was cold. It was probably raining, and you said, "I hope it doesn't go to extra innings." And I think we played 10 that game. Couldn't have gotten any wetter, any colder.
That sounds like something.
I think
that's a Clark Griswold line right
it
there,
was.
You know, it's.
I think they beat Zavarian that game, which was, quite
That's a great
an
win.
upset.
That's a great win.
There was and it was a good game. I'll tell you. Igo loves beating Zavarian. He's an alum.
Yeah.
He's a easy fly to.
Don't overrun it.
Oh, he's got a
Check
chance
back.
at him. Let it go.
Throw.
Yeah, a nice throw. He does.
Got him.
Beautiful
Got
play. Jordan Marino there.
Nice throw from center field.
The runner was off on the pitch. Didn't realize that it was an easy fly to center fielder Marino, and he gunned him down with a perfect one-hop throw to first base. I think that was Grenham over there. Grabbed that. All right, Norwood's got one more chance, 11-6 here.
See, they're going to bring Longo back out.
The lefty. Huh?
This is interesting. So we mentioned both teams, 5 games in 6 days.
Yeah.
So Westwood's got to go to Dover-Sherborne tomorrow and finish a game that they went to extra innings in.
So they got to go over there.
They got to go over.
Huh.
It could be literally 10 minutes.
Yes, right.
So they got to figure out kind of that situation. And I like the play here. You got Longo, here and to look to finish the game, right?
Yeah.
And you have a couple different options they can use tomorrow for 1 inning. So it's.
But you also, like you said, you got your biggest game of the year.
Your biggest game on Wednesday.
On Wednesday,
but
right.
You know what? You got to get through right now.
Yep.
And you can't focus on Wednesday until you get through Tuesday.
Right.
So.
And that's what I think Igo was looking at here today.
Big time.
Pull out all the stops because you need a win. If
Yeah.
you don't win tonight, which unfortunately they're going to need a major.
Well, they had a 4-run inning.
Well, yeah, it's not out of the question, but they needed all these wins, and I don't quite understand the concept of the playoffs. You probably understand better, but because I know that there are ways in some sports when you can get in, literally winning 1 or 2 games.
Yeah.
Right?
So if you have there's some teams that are Division II teams in Division I leagues.
Right.
And they are playing good teams, and so their power rankings, because they're playing good teams, they got in, which is.
Norwood basketball was ranked 20th in
That's the thing
this.
too. Yeah.
There was 40 teams,
I know.
so they ended up playing the 40th team, and being ranked 20th, they got a home game in basketball.
Yeah,
which they won, and it was great. But
how about the 7-footer, the 6?
Yeah,
what an incredible! He dunked 4 times in the Westwood game.
Yeah, he was a pretty good player for us.
But that's the thing about. But here's the thing about the basketball too is, the MIA doesn't think the TVL is is a competitive league when they look at the other leagues for basketball.
Yeah.
Baseball, I think they do.
A little bit more, I think so.
Softball, I think they do.
Yeah.
Hockey, it's so-so.
I think Norwood came into the TVL, and Igo would make the tournament in the Bay State League every year, but I think that they saw it as, we're going to not walk in, but, we should be pretty good in this league.
We should be competing for
I'll tell you,
championship each year.
TVL is pretty strong in that you got a team coming from the Bay State League to the TVL. Mm-hmm. It's sort of a mark. All of a sudden, Norwood, hey, we want to beat this team.
Yeah.
And if one good pitcher can even everything up. You may not have the greatest team, but you got a kid that can really throw.
Yeah.
You got a competitive game, and I think that's what Coach Igo found. And this better baseball than people would have expected.
Yeah.
And it's sort of proven this year because we're not going to make the tournament evidently, and yet. The other aspect of what Igo does is he has 4 games outside of the TVL.
Yeah.
He scheduled Zavarian, Braintree, Walpole, and Natick. He could have found 4 probably a bit easier.
You know what I love about that is 2 things. One, it's going to help your rankings. So you get losses versus good teams, regardless. You're gonna do well. The second thing is you want your team to be battle tested come end of May.
That's what I think he feels.
You want your team to have played the best of the best. You develop, your confidence to see who are your guys. When your back's against the wall, who are your go-to guys that embrace the challenge.
Yeah.
And that's how you see if your teams get the championship mold.
Yeah, I agree.
One of the years we played Braintree, I think that we might have given Braintree their only loss. Of the regular season.
Yeah.
So, I keep an eye on the first base. I think wouldn't be surprised if you see him steal because
you think so?
Westwood's focused on trying to get the out. And if Norwood can get this guy on second and get him across, that's momentum. You then get that to a 4-run game.
Well, I get one thing that mitigates against it is that this kid. He's with that kick.
Yeah.
It looks like, ooh, he got that pretty good, but a center fielder should make that play. He does.
There by Leahy.
He brings that leg up, and I remember one of the first things, he went to home plate, and yet Coach O'Leary here yelled to the back, tough with the lefty.
Yeah.
You know.
Oh yeah.
What was the kid from Norwood? The best I ever saw.
Yeah,
Santisi. Best kid I ever saw.
And
One
looked like
time.
he was throwing home and throw to first.
Oh, little guy. Couldn't, threw soft, had curveballs, but he had the greatest move.
Yeah.
He come in in Legion against Walpole.
He
And
walked the kid, I think, sort of on purpose.
on purpose.
Just so he could
Free
pick
out.
him off.
Free out, yeah.
And Costello would tell the kid, do not get off the bag.
Yeah.
It was like Little League.
Yeah.
The guy would not even get
Would he
off
throw
the bag.
it as a no-look throw, too,
Yeah.
to add to it?
Yep. Joey Santisi. Yeah. He's still around. He owns his own hairstyle and place. He's done great. He's done great. Yeah. Ooh. Well, Rochi's got what? 3-0 count. Get Rochi on. No, it isn't going quietly here.
That's a good
He's
pitch
got a
there.
strike there.
Looks like the same pitch.
Yeah.
Ooh. Look good, but a little outside, I guess. All right, so now we'd get on
What
first
you
and
want, you need
second.
some base, some traffic out there.
Yeah, Bautista, the sophomore, who's played well tonight. I think probably one of his first starting assignments. I know he was playing JVs a couple of weeks ago.
That's a good pitch there.
Yeah. I think he'll be, I wouldn't be surprised to see him throw a little.
Yeah.
Either tomorrow or against Walpole. He's potentially their best young pitcher.
One ball, one strike, one out.
Ooh, big swing, but swung above it. Oh, just missed there.
So the Legion play their games here as well?
Yes, yeah. Smudge is back, 21st, 22nd year. Paul Samagelis.
Is that going to drop?
Foul.
Congrats to Smudge, as we call him. He won the race in Plymouth for school committee.
Yeah, he was on our school committee for a number of years and has moved down there with his family, young family. And he ran for school committee one Saturday. I think I've heard rumors, not from him, but it would be interesting that this might be his last year. I mean, he travels from Plymouth up here. Ooh, that ball's hit. No,
It's not carrying.
Should have it. All right. Oh, the left fielder. The left fielder sort of backed off. The center fielder backed off. I thought he had an easier play.
Wind knocked that down, too.
Right. So, good luck to Smudge. I hope the Legion has a good year.
So bases loaded, one out.
Yeah. Is this Keady, I think? The lefty hitter? Yeah, Keady, Frankie Keady.
Yeah.
And he's had a couple of nice rips tonight. And see if he can make this interesting, because we got the top of the order, Lockie and...
it's a lefty-on-lefty matchup.
Yeah, Granum coming. Yeah, Legion starts right up, too. That's the funny thing about Legion and Senior Babe Ruth here in Norwood. I think, games are scheduled the first week in June.
Yeah.
Which guess it'd be a problem if your team is in the tournament.
Yeah.
This ground ball.
Oh,
terrible hop. Terrible hop. So they get a
run scoring.
Yeah, they get a break there.
Tying run's going to come to the plate.
Yeah, 11-7. Lockheed will hit with the bases loaded. I don't think they would have got double play, but if they could have, they probably should have had a force out at second.
Hit that lip and there it went.
Well, you were saying before, Jimmy, you didn't think the field was.
Well, I don't know. The grass is kind of uneven.
Yeah.
Some dandelions.
Well, Morgan, what's the story with Westwood? I don't think they had a Legion team last year. Do you know what the story is over there?
That's a
there's a
ball.
ball.
That's gonna.
And by the second baseman.
One at a time.
They're going one base at a time. O'Leary stops Bautista. Makes it 11-8. With Grenham hitting the lefty. Are they going to have a team? I mean,
I thought they had some kind of team because I was seeing highlights and whatnot.
Well,
I don't know if it was
Cappuccino there, Gary. He had a junior Legion team.
Oh,
but the senior Legion team last year, they didn't get a team together, which was amazing.
It's interesting because they typically get variant kids.
Yeah, and Pastor has run that that zone.
Still doing?
Well, he didn't last year, and I think without him, that really hurt.
Great hockey family too, the Pastors. Big Northeastern baseball connection with him.
So I don't know. I don't know what the zone will look like this year. There's talk that Walpole is not going to have a Legion team, which is amazing to me. I'll ask her.
If you were to tell me 15 years ago, Legion and Pop Warner.
Well, there's a ball back to the mound. There's an out there. He caught him out at first. A double play.
That is going to do it.
Yeah. All right. Pitcher to catcher to first to end the game.
The 1, 2, 3.
No.
Double play.
I'll ask you one further question about Legion. Who's the most famous Norwood player ever played for the Walpole Legion?
Ooh. I'm gonna say Mr. Eddie Hickey.
No. Richie Hebner.
Really?
No, it didn't have a Legion team when Richie was playing high school ball. So Ralph White got him to go up to Walpole, and Richie played his Legion ball for Walpole.
Incredible.
Yeah. All right, that does it here. That was an interesting. Norwood made a run there in the last inning.
Nice play by
double
the
play
catcher, especially.
Yeah, double play at first there, close play, and it was a little contact when the throw brought the one. But Westwood takes an 11-8 win. We wish them good luck, I guess, particularly at Brian Whalen.
As well, and you know what?
Guys, was the umpire a Westwood guy?
Yeah.
He's high-fiving everybody.
Guys, there might be a chance these two see each other in the playoffs. You never know. And if there is, I think we got to get the table together.
Yes, that's true.
Wherever it may be.
And let's try to get a 75-80 degree.
Yeah.
Right.
Let's try to get some SPF 30 on before that game, huh?
Well, Morgan, we enjoyed working with you. Jimmy and I enjoyed doing these, so it was good.
Yeah.
We want to thank NCM.
Yes.
Now it's time to break the camera.
Right. You don't have to show us, Sammy. We got Sammy Woods, who did a great job on the camera, and the intern didn't do a bad job when he was awake. So I want to thank Jack Tolman also.
With the heat on.
Right. So for one last time, and from the ball chair, we've watched the Westwood Wolverines pull out an 11-8 win over the Mustangs, and hope to be back, and perhaps we'll do a Legion game at some point. All right. Have a good night, folks.